Hey guys, and welcome to another One Build Battle Royale tournament. And my god, do we have some competitors in here today for you. This is going to be a wild set of games. We have 4 quarterfinals, 2 semi-finals of course, and then 1 big final. It's all best of 1, and we've had a ton of players actually playing today, all across the different skill levels as well. We've had some newer players coming in and making some big upsets, which is always good to see, because in this format, sometimes you can get caught off, as of course, as the title states, One Build Battle Royale tournament, you get one build, and you have to stick with that build for the duration of the entire tournament. So you must build well. Do you go really overpowered in one aspect, like a load of range, and just hope you don't come up against anyone with a ton of skirmish cavalry? Or do you go more balanced? It's a nice little kind of risky balancing game, and I quite like this tournament a lot. I have just dropped a link to the bracket. But game 1 shall be Killer versus Bowmore. That is, I believe, Avalon versus Skaven. We then have Ice Power versus Takoyaki, Tank versus Phoenix King, and then Falcon versus Dr. Jellyfish. So a load of cool players coming in, and I'm expecting some pretty competitive games. So, start when ready, lads. Cool, let these guys know that it's good to go. And yeah, Bowmore coming in with Skaven. Is that the Tretch symbol as well? Maybe he's gone for a little bit of a meme, and a lot of people do meme in this tournament, which is good to see. What's up, Phoenix King? How's it going, champ? I really love your build as well you've submitted. I won't spoil it for the people watching at home. We'll wait for you to catch up. But your Lord choice is on point in my opinion. For the Azure, says Nick. How you doing, champion? We have quite a few High Elves actually. I think we have 3 High Elves still left in, which is, they've put on a really good display so far. What's up, Kaiser? Quack quack. I love the one build format. I wish they were an option on ladder. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool if you could just stick with one. I believe Intisty does have a single faction kind of slot on his ladder system, which is meant for competitive games, but unfortunately I think it's not really that well populated compared to the standard best of 3 format that he normally goes for. Hello everyone on stream, says Bowmore. Looks like he's back, just waiting on Killer, and we'll get cracking. Hello for Poland, how are you doing, champion? Hope you're all good today, man. Man, that was a wild stream yesterday. If you guys were there, you know you know what was up. That was probably the craziest stream we've ever had. I'm going to try and pronounce your name, but Kazarix? Kazarix. Hello. You said hi over winky face. Apologies if I butcher your name. My pronunciation is pretty terrible. I am British, and that's all what happens. Already? Yes. Gonna have fun. And once these guys are in, we'll be hopping straight into the first game. So Gorgazan will be the map for this first round, or the first quarterfinal. We then have Troll Country, River Maxon, Oakenhammer. Semi-finals will be played on Alpine Ridge and Srosterhafen, and the finals on Iron Sands Desert. Should be good. It's going to be a relatively middle range, I think, length stream today, because we're going through so many games. We're starting at the quarterfinals, which is way earlier than we normally do, but that means we're guaranteed, I believe, to do, 4 quarterfinals, 2 semi-finals, as well as the finals, so we have 7 games on the cards. My god, I've just remembered what Bowmore's build is, and you are going to love it. It is insane madness. We have double chieftain on the back of these awesome looking models, the Bone Crushers. So 2 chieftains, one with Guardian, one without Guardian. We also have a Grey Seer of Plague leading the forces. Look at him just having an absolute blast there on his bell. Coming with Arcane Conduit, Warpstone Scroll, Vermintide, the dreaded 13th spell, Unholy Clamour, Scorch, all the good stuff into the distance. We bucket a ton of Clan Rats as well as Eshin Triads dotted throughout the main formation, and Skaven Slaves as well. So just a load of chaff to hold the enemy in place while the range does the damage. And for that range, we have double Poisoned Wind Globadiers and double Warplock Jezzails as well, so plenty of range pressure. They're going to be protected by 2 units of Eshin Triads. And we have double Mutant Rat Ogre. These guys look horrific. Oh my god. They are very cool. I haven't seen them in quite some time. They are anti-infantry frenzied armor piercing, so I expect them to do some pretty good work alongside the chieftain. Now, for the forces here of Killer, he does love his Avalon all round, and we do indeed have them as a sub-faction here. We have Rangers dotted through the front line, backed up by an insane amount of bowfire, coming in the form of the Lothran Sea Guard. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those bad boys, who can fight relatively well in combat. We have Silver Helms guarding the flanks, and on the back burners we do have an Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower, supported by double Swordmasters of Hoeth, who in this colour scheme I'm expecting to look really cool, and I am 100% correct. The little green tint on them, not quite as badass as the Nagarife colour scheme in my humble opinion, but still looking pretty solid. With an Archmage of High Magic up in the skies, Tempest, Soul Quench, and Apotheosis are the weapons of choice. Now, you may think this is going to be really just lit up by the Warplock Jezzails, but we have the Armour of Stars, given Stalk and Unspottable, should be able to get out of any sticky situations. How ironic is it that we rarely see such ironic units as Bonebreakers and Wyverns? I mean, it's kind of cool we get to see them. This is similar to Sotek's Tabletop, yes. We've changed the rules slightly, so... and in Lore Master Sotek's ones, which is really good fun as well, I have played in a few of them, you're kind of limited to the rules that you could play on tabletop, so armies operate in very different ways. We're still doing the standard banner rule system, but you can only bring the one army, yes. So in that way, it's the same. Load of shots do come in. Looks like they're aiming for the Poisonwing Globadiers. Not a bad target whatsoever as Bowmore starts to reposition and gets ready to charge in for glory. We're also going to be seeing a Soul Quench come down the line on the Poisonwing Globadiers. They are going to dart, but it does have a bit of a tracking animation, and oh, that is pretty nasty stuff. Poisonwing Globadiers only losing 8 models there, so not the end of the world for them, but it still is a nice shot. It's glorious to see that thing track and swerve around as well, much like the Hell Cannon does. Bolt Thrower is also trying to focus down the same unit. Bowmore wisely has switched his formation to a wide formation, so if you're going to shoot in, you're only going to kill one rat at a time, which obviously isn't very time or cost effective for the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower. Warlord Jezzails are now focus firing down the Bolt Thrower itself, and they should be able to deal with it relatively effectively. Not the best unit in the world at taking out enemy artillery. They're better at kind of taking down characters and large creatures, but still will get the job done, and you can see the Bolt Thrower struggling to stay online. Lothar and Seaguard have started to rain volleys of arrows down, but only upon the Skaven slaves, and in comes the first Scorch of the day. Not quite perfectly timed though, and it looks like it actually just about misses. Very unfortunate there, coming in from the Grey Seer, but of course all of these clicks are made in a heat of a second. Another Soul Quench goes down on the Poisonwing Globadiers. He definitely wants to get those guys off the field before they engage with the Rangers. Silverhelm's also getting forced back by the double Mutant Rat Ogre. Archmage now going to be floating over to say hello to the rest of the forces. Eagle Bolt Thrower has been dealt with and pushed back here. Those Jezzails proved me wrong and quite comfortably beating back the enemy artillery. Silverhelm's going to be crashing into the flank of the Skaven slaves, looking to break them and slaughter this front line, as the Lothar and Seaguard actually move up a little bit. Silverhelms get caught by the double mutant Rat Ogre. Oh no! And these guys will get about their butcher's work. Yes, they're not anti-large, but with their armor piercing, they should do a good, solid job. Silverhelms have managed to force their way into the back line, and it looks like the Warlord Jezzails are currently being comfortably dealt with by Silverhelms, and the Archmage has darted in the back line. This is a huge problem right now for the Skaven, whose frontline assault is starting to waver and break. Grayseer is doing a good job. We also have the summons down, trying to shut in and shut down the Lothar and Seaguard, and this flank's going a little bit better for the Skaven, with the double Chieftain and Eshin Triads forcing their way through the enemy formation, breaking off Lothar and Seaguard as well as those mighty Swordmasters of Hoeth. We only got 4 kills, that's really quite bad by them. Silverhelms in the back line are now slowly getting shut down by Eshin Triads, but not before one unit of the Jezzails is dealt with, and the other one is sent packing and running. A fat Soul Quench probably going to come in again on the Mutant Rat Ogre here, and the big shot comes in. Boom, doing some really nice solid damage. Unholy Clamour is currently popped, and the Balanced Power is dead even. A very close game, as now it looked pretty good for the High Elves briefly, but a lot of the Lothar and Seaguard are engaged in hand-to-hand combat, not realistically where they want to be. Chieftains bounding and jumping around the battlefield, laughing at their opponents as they do so. Lothar and Seaguard are going to be the best answer to the Mutant Rat Ogres, and you can see they do pretty decent damage once they get far in, but there's so many Skaven darting all over the back line, it's looking a little rough for them. However, Rangers have managed to pop onto the Warplock Jezzails now, and the Swordmasters should comfortably be able to deal with all these pesky clan rats. Both units of Silverhelms, once again, absolutely legging it, pumping it back to the battlefield, because they realise that we are needed kind of now. Mutant Rat Ogre being dealt with by the Archmage of High Magic, showing, hey, I'm not just a big pigeon, I'm a mighty duck, and I will pick out your eyes if you try to tussle with me. Poor little Mutant Rat Ogre not having the time of his life, and does actually get dealt with rather comfortably by the Archmage. Really nice play so far by Killaruno, hunting down at these single entity targets. Lothar and Seaguard focusing down at the other Chieftain, but the Chieftains are anti-large, so they're going to be a bit more of a problem for the Archmage. Luckily though, for the force of the High Elves, Killaruno has emerged once more with a ton of archers, starting to pepper and rain fire down on those Eshin Triads, and the Swordmasters are going to be finding themselves in an engagement that they don't really want to take. The Chieftain is a epic master of war, although, no, oh my god, like almost really bad micro there by the Skaven with the Scorch, but then fantastic micro to realise its mistake and pull out the Eshin Triads once more. Good play there and good recovery by the Skaven, who started to take a tiny bit of a lead here as the Swordmasters are now dueling the Grey Seer of Plague, and because a lot of their archers are taken offline, they kind of need them to deal with a lot of these larger targets. One of the Chieftains is now being hunted down by the Archmage with an Apotheosis popped on her, and it looks like she may be able to fulfill her goal of shutting him down for good, although a Mutant Rat Ogre has returned to the fray. In the distance, some Silver Helms are escorting this last Mutant Rat Ogre off the board, which is really good diligent play by the High Elves. You don't want that type of creature coming back. It packs a punch on the charge. There's no need to let it live. Poisonwind Globed is still somehow going strong, despite only having 300 health. Lothran and Seaguard should be able to break them off the field rather quickly, and it looks like the bowline is now back online for Killaruno and his High Elf forces. Silverhelms are in retreat at the moment. Archmage has the Armour of Stars popped on her, looking for another opportunity to jump on one of these Rat Ogres or Chieftains. Swordmasters in the front line, unfortunately, have been killed. 127 kills, but I don't think their damage value is going to be too great because they were only really chewing through light infantry. The Archmage floating out to the right-hand side. Silverhelm's also taking a bit of a breather, and all of this ammunition needs to be used from the High Elves to really try to seal the deal here as the Rangers charge in, sacrificing their lives to buy more time. Warlord Gazelles get hit by a pretty epic Soul Quench. Got Rangers charging in the back line, and if their morale can hold up and they reach the combat, they will be able to overwhelm the Warlord Gazelles, but Bowmore says, no sirree, not today. Going to be falling back with all his forces and protecting his range assets, which I think all round is the correct play here. He is going to have to start getting a little aggressive and shutting down the Lothran Seaguard before that damage adds up, but if he has the Warlord Gazelles nearby, they can also do a lot of that damage from long range. Archmage has finally now been spotted flying high above the enemy army. Not too much here though can really threaten her, with the Warlord Gazelles currently being harassed, trying to dart back and forth away from that bowfire as more shots do rain in. Very close game so far. What are your guys' thoughts? Who do you think has this? I think the Skaven Fist of Power may be a little bit too much here. Yeah, Mass Gazelles I think are really good against artillery. I meant more one-on-one. But they did a really solid job here. And the Chieftains do now charge in, starting to slam down those Rangers, who are currently running for their lives and terrified. I do not blame them. Lothran and Seaguard going to be playing a little bit of a kiting game now, trying to whittle down the larger entities from range, and it is starting to work. This Chieftain's getting very low. If the Archmage can isolate it away from its Triads, she may well be able to finish it off and kill it, but there is still another Chieftain, another Mutant Rat Ogre. I think it's going to be so hard, and a really well-placed Scorch this time, coming down the line, breaking both units of Swordmasters, who are going to be, hopefully, for Killaruno, a nice, stable centre force in the late game that he could use to defend his bowline with. But now, that's not going to be an option. Lothran and Seaguard do continue to fight in onto the Chieftain, doing some nice work, who's getting relatively low at this point. And we have the Grey Seer of Plague, who's pretty healthy, which is a bit of a worry, because he can basically solo the majority of this high health build and what's left, if it's not being threatened by bowfire the entire time. Silverhelm's coming in for that assassination attempt. Archmage or High Magic may want to join the fight, just to try and kill it and maybe break the leadership of the Skaven forces. But we do have a summon going down, I think. Nope, it looks like it was indeed cancelled, now that the Mutant Rat Ogre has instead popped in the back line, terrifying away Lothran Seaguard, and now the summon once again is coming in. It's simply cheap and cheerful clan rats they're going to use to hunt down the Lothran Seaguard. Archmage as well as Silverhelms attempting to deal with this Mutant Rat Ogre, who is duking back and forth at the moment. A big shot does come in, smacking him straight on the side of the face, and the Silverhelms do some lovely work, but we have a summon of Storm Vermin coming in. They will be able to push back the Silverhelms with ease. Archmage needs to be very, very careful now, because these Storm Vermin could pin her in and finish her off for good. Some Lothran Seaguard are still fine, but the most of the higher forces have broken and run for their lives, and I don't think there's any way back here. Lothran Seaguard wavering down here, very tired, wavering, damage sustained, 7 leadership, -1 leadership, and they break. Archmage still going strong, and she's got a lot of health left, hence why I think the balance power isn't so bad, because if we have an overarching look across the battlefield, there is not that much high health punch left. We have the double Silverhelms, this unit though incredibly weak, who could definitely cycle charge down a lot of the lighter infantry, but with so many Chieftains left alive, I don't think the Archmage can assassinate them all. He's attempting to come down on this Mutant Rat Ogre, but there are Eshin Triads here for support, and that Rat Ogre has now been dealt with. She's been really aggressive, and I do love people playing real aggressive with these Great Eagle Archmages. 1,825 damage value. Good work there. Another Scorch comes down, this time a little bit mistimed, and Killarono does manage to escape with his Silver Helms. Stormvermin will be disappearing soon, hopefully pushing the balance power a little bit more back to the middle, and you can see it does go a little ways there. But Lothran Seaguard running here, Silver Helm's pretty beat up, and it's kind of just a hit-and-run affair from the High Elf forces. Can they do it? Can they break down the Skaven? If I'm the Skaven in this moment, I'm actually consolidating all my forces into one big blob and just waiting. Just like, come at me, bro. I'll slowly walk towards your archers, and if you do attack me with cavalry, I've got so many troops kind of blocked up together, you're simply going to have to pay with your lives. But in comes an assassination attempt. The Archmage isn't done yet. Silver Helms come charging in. Armor of Stars active on the Archmage, and an Apotheosis went off to try to defeat the Grey Seer, who manages to pull back through its lieutenants, the Great Chieftains, who are currently pounding down the Silver Helms, who are desperately trying to retreat. They're terrified, though, and broken, running for their lives once more, as the Eshin Triads drive them away from the main battlefield. And soon, the High Elves are going to have to stand and fight, because the majority of their forces are shattered and running. We do have these Triads escorting away the Lothran Seaguard. Not a bad play whatsoever, because he's relatively comfortable, I think, up against the Archmage. Mutant Rattoga once again is running for his life. The second chieftain is getting very low, but he has his blood brother with him. The Archmage now getting bullied from both sides. Eshin Triads coming in to apply that glorious Weeping Blade effect, lowering the armor of the Archmage down to just 15. 127 leaders, minus 127 leadership, I should say. And yes, yes, the Skaven forces go on. Woo! That was a good one. That was a good one to start the day. A very close game for a long time. That was kind of in the balance, and I think the key moment came down. Killarono kind of pushed forward his Lothran Seaguard to hunt down some key targets, and that allowed Bowmore to really start to engage them and shut all those archers down in the mid-game, and Killarono really never kind of came back into the game after that, because they were his only answer to these large threats. Apart from some beautiful micromanagement with this Archmage, he got 2,000 damage value. Rangers across the board really did suffer. Swordmasters, however, as well performed, so unfortunate. 132 damage value here, 294 for 127 kills. They were certainly cleaving their way through the chaff. Lothran Seaguard didn't perform too bad. Good play of the Silver Helms to keep him in the game. 1,400 damage value, 852. Fortunately, the bolt thrower was forced off. Big fan of this build from Bowmore. Love to see the double Mutant Rattoga. He performed relatively okay. Not much damage value, but a big pain in the back line, bouncing between combats, forcing and stressing Killarono's micro even more. The Warp Gazelles performed okay as well, nothing too crazy. Poisonwind Gladiators, one got 1,100 damage value, the other was expertly deleted early on. Eshin Triads, a nice mix in this build as well. So pretty cool stuff. The Grey Seer Plague, 1.6k, 700 damage value on this chieftain, and the other one, 1,282. GG. See you in the semis, Bowmore. GG's. July 13th must be one of the coolest summoning spells. Oh, hell yeah, Benedict. It looks so cool. What's up, Flex Prime? How's it going, champion? Hope you're all good today, man. Good to see you in chat. Let's have a little sip of our drink and we move on to the next game. So up next we have Ice Power, I believe, versus Takoyaki. Let's pop out, make sure they've made a lobby. Which I should be able to see. I can see Jellyfish versus Falcon. That's going to be after. I can see Tank. They need to open a spectator slot, though. I'm assuming that's Tank's one for the game after. So let's drop them a little message. Oh, Takoyaki sent me his friend code. Perfect. So we will get him added. Awesome stuff. So yeah, we've got Ice Power versus Takoyaki next, which is Dark Elves versus Vampirates. We then have Tank versus the Phoenix King, which is Vampire Counts versus High Elves. Then Falcon versus Dr. Jellyfish. High Elves versus Skaven, the rematch. So looking to avenge his XMT brother there. So let's hop over to this next one. I will quickly add Takoyaki to my friends list. And we can get it cracking. So, friends, add friend. Cool, and we've sent an invite to him. So hopefully we should be able to see the lobby. Lobby is up, or did you want to host? Oh no, it looks like they've just put up the lobby now. Cool, so I'll hop over. We will hop over. Where are you, Mr. Ice Power? There we go. 1, 2, 3, hopefully. good PCs and internet only. What's that for? Oh, well, people put that in the thing. Yeah, sure. So the map is going to be Troll Country. Hello. Map is Troll Country. So let's quickly change their names. So on the right, making his debut on the channel, I believe. I don't think we've seen Takoyaki before. I don't know too much about his playstyle. But I know he did very well, I think, in the WWC. So obviously an experienced player, but just someone that we haven't had the pleasure of having faced on the battlefield just yet. And we'll put Ice Power on the side. Awesome stuff. Who's your money on? Dark Elves versus VP. It's going to be interesting. It's on quite a small map. But again, we may see a rush build coming in. I can't remember Takoyaki's build whatsoever. I'll be there to revenge Killaruno as well. Of course, Phoenix King, bringing in the High Elf forces. But I can't remember who you're up against. I think you're up against VC rather than Skaven. So that grudge will have to, you know, go unanswered for a little bit. But I'm sure we'll get there eventually. What's up, More Quack Quack. Hello, everyone. Fantastic game, dude. Well played. I like your build. The double Mutant Rat Ogre, double Chieftain is absolutely hilarious. And it actually worked. It's kind of funny. But anyway, let's hop into this battle. So, the Might of Ice Power is bringing, of course, his beloved Dark Elves to the fray. And if you guys have seen Ice Power much, you would know his favourite way of playing Dark Elves is double Ferromanticore up in the sky, which we have 2 of. And we have Marathi, his glorious queen, coming in with the Wand of Caradon. We have Soul Stealer, as well as Heartrender and the Dark Sword. So, overall, fast-moving terror, which can strike wherever, is always quite nice. In the front line is Cheap and Cheerful Chaff. We just have Bleak Swords and Dread Spears dotted all the way along, here to absorb some of the enemy damage, try to wrap around, but a nice, stable, solid front line as far as it goes. We do have some Cold War Knights supporting a big skirmish force, so a load of Dark Riders, some with shields, some without. We also have the Snatchers Harvesters, the regiment-renowned Doomfire Warlocks, as well as the Scourge Runner Chariots. So pretty cool build all round, I like it from Ice Power, and he actually managed to take out Grombrindle's Dwarfs, which you wouldn't expect to be able to do with this build, so very well played. It looks like he's in good form so far. As for Takoyaki, we do indeed have Queen Bess. What a hero! We've got Queen Bess in the back, supported by a gunnery right, of course, to apply that extra ammunition where needed. Front line's going to be made up of zombie pirate deckhand mobs and backed up by zombie pirate deckhand mobs with polearms. We have 1 unit of depth guard in the centre pocket, certainly going to be able to chew its way through the lighter infantry of the Dark Elf forces, and double zombie pirate gunnery mob bombers. Up in the skies, you have some deck droppers with handguns, which is always good to see. These guys can do some really nice long-range pressure, and 2 deck droppers on the left-hand side, and a ton of Vanguard, it would seem. We have Scurvy Dogs, and it seems like they're the only ones there. Leading the force, we do have a Vampire Fleet Admiral of Pistols, of pistols? When he has a pistol, the Vampire Fleet Admiral of Vampires, there we go. Yeah. He loves his pistols, but he also loves his vampire magic. Looking like an absolute badass on top of the mighty Crabbo. We are coming in with all the goodies, all the standard stuff you'd expect. Invocation in the Heck, Drown Dead, the Bound Spells, Opal Amulet. And yeah, should be some good fun. So when these guys are ready to rumble, we will hop into this one. What's up, Real Human Being? How's it going, champion? And Les Gray, good to see you. Takoyaki sounds tasty. It does indeed. I don't want to fight Icy's build yet. It's looking pretty scary. Oh, it's time, Real Human Being. It's time. Good luck, have fun, lads. So let's have a little sip of our drink while we wait for them to kick off. That's the good stuff. Lord of Pistols is the way to go, man. Yeah, what does he have to kill large? He's got some halberds, but not much. I guess just through mass attrition and praying a little bit. Queen Bess does launch that first glorious shot, and we shall fire through the skies here, as it's going to be raining down upon, let's see, some open ground. And all round, Queen Bess's sorts are relatively easy to dodge, so with good micro, it's kind of hard. What you have to do with Queen Bess is exactly what Takoyaki is doing. You have to switch between targets, so it makes it harder for your opponent to predict where you are going to land those. Bleak Swords take a tiny St. but nothing too bad there, and it looks like we do have our first wand coming down on the zombie gunnery mobs. Or bomber mobs, I should say. One comes down, doing some pretty nice damage on them. He certainly wants to get rid of these guys because they're going to do massive damage to the Dread Spears and Bleak Swords throughout. On the left-hand side, Squadron Chariots have moved up. They're going to be trying to focus fire down the deck droppers, it would seem. And we have a summon of the zombie pirate gunnery mobs in the back line, just looking to wave off Marathi, who's already taken a considerable amount of damage coming in from those deck droppers. But a lovely, fat, juicy Soul Stealer is going to keep her topped up. Morale down's about half health. She's being a little bit careful, but the Double Ferromancer Corps are here to help support. Another big shot from Queen Bess goes in, and now the Bleak Swords are pinned in place. Those shots are going to land far more often, doing some nice work. It is a messy fight so far. Up in the skies, Ferromanticores hunting down those handgun and deck droppers. Sessions Harvesters do pop into the back line, but really onto the wrong targets. They're hunting down the summon, which is, all good, but there are, unfortunately for them, deck cannon mobs, as well as the Vampire Fleet Admiral, beating them back. Luckily, their Soul Stealer is going to come into effect and hopefully heal them up. Marathi is getting very, very danger low. You can see the gunnery white just shooting her. Focus firing her down, and oh no, there's a disaster for Ice Power. He needs to get away from this cheeky little gunnery white, because now she's broken, he's going to have to fight this with Outer Lord. Apart from that, everything else is going quite well. We can see Dark Warriors breaking this front line. A lot of the bombers are being overwhelmed, although we do have the Depth Guard, who are going to be a little bit more of a problem. Big Queen Bess shot comes and lands right on those Cold One Knights. Oh my god, the damage! As they attempted to surround the Admiral. So the fact Queen Bess is still alive and relatively well protected, as well as his Depth Guard, this is going to all of a sudden be quite a tough fight for Ice Power, who I think was massively in a huge state of advantage until he got Marathi sniped like that. Ferromanticores are dealing with the deck droppers up in the sky, which is definitely good news for him, and the Manticores will be able to take down the Admiral if they start to team him up. That's if they get the chance. Queen Bess once again is going to fire in on the Dread Spears, and a load of friendly fire damage as well, but that's absolutely fine. They're zombies, they are born to die. Deckhammer Polearm starting to push in on the Cold One Knights. Good micro by Ice Power, though, is going to pull them out here and away from the danger, and cycle charge in with Scourge Runner Chariots. Game's still very even, and it looks like at the moment Ice Power has found his solution and his way back into the game. Double Ferromanticores, nom nom this Vampire Fleet Admiral. However, there is a summon of the zombies in the back line to try and pin them in pace while he runs away. Needs to get to the safety of these polearms. Now, where are the Depth Guard? Hopefully they're chewing through a lot of enemies. Looks like they are indeed. We'll struggle late game though up against some of these larger creatures and cycle charging from cavalry. We have the handgunner deck droppers backfiring again, and they need to focus down these Manticores and get them off the field, because if they snipe this Admiral, it is all of a sudden going to be a game over for the undead forces, I think. And wavering one Manticore though has broken. The second one needs to now be focus fired down. Admiral is below leadership though, down to -12, -4. He needs to try to stabilize here, but it looks like he may go down. Gunnery White trying his best to help support, and the other Manticore is wavering and nearly breaking. This is an insanely close moment in the battle. Deck droppers have to unfortunately focus down this one Manticore, so they can't chase the other one, and it may come back to the field, and it does just in the nick of time. Luckily though for Takoyaki, he does manage to get an Invocation Heck off on his Admiral, and Manticore now has Rampage in the wrong direction to the handgunners. This is such a close game, right on a knife edge, but I think the majority of the Dark Elf forces have kind of lost hope because the Admiral managed to survive, although I don't think he had to survive much longer. Manticore has come down, and he's just about holding on. We also have to summon more mobs coming in to help support him, and even more mobs popping in, and it seems like the Vampirates may be able to skewer the Dark Elf dreams here, as a lot of them are starting to break and run for the hills. Queen Bess up to 210 kills, very good display from her. Deck droppers continue to rain fire down from the skies. That Ferromanticore has now been dealt with both the Manticores pretty much off the field. Actually, this one has managed to regain its consciousness. Maybe there's hope if the Dark Elves can rally around the might of the Manticore, because the Depth Guard aren't really going to be able to duel such units. We do have some of the Doomfire Warlocks charging back in, trying to help just pin as many enemies in as possible, and have the Ferromanticore land on that Vampire and do the dirty work. And he's getting in there, but a fat Invocation Heck is going to come down, popping him up and keeping him nice and healthy. Poor Ferromanticore does shatter, army losses kicks in, and the Vampirates shall rule supreme. Lore of Pistols outshined by the lore of handguns. My god, man, yeah, I am not with it today. Shoot them down, bring them down, bring them down. Can a man be lucky to catch 2 streams in a row? Guess so. What's up, Aloys? How's it going, man? Hopefully you'll enjoy this one as much as yesterday's. Yesterday's stream is going to be hard to top, but it's been some good games so far. Well played to Ice Power Total War. He's in fact a YouTuber himself and was also streaming his point of view, so make sure to go check him out. Doesn't stream too often. I think he's looking to do it more and more, but he's just kind of getting into the game. As far, well, as a game of streaming, obviously he's a very experienced tournament player. Unfortunately for him though, bigger Mama Marathi, only 460 damage value. Having her sniped out was disastrous, because apart from that, he was doing so good. Ferromancer cores 1.2, 1.5k damage value, always a good investment, and his cavalry for the most part did pretty solid work. As for Takoyako, they have 2,900 damage value on Queen Bess. Oh, really paying for herself, and the Air Force was just too much. 1.3k damage value on one of them. Scooby Dogs were well dealt with, likewise were the Bombers. Death Guard got okay damage value of 900, but it really was just coming down to Queen Bess and the assassination of key targets. So, up next after this, we shall be moving on to our next champions, who I believe is Tank. Let's have a little look and double check. I believe is Tank versus Phoenix King, if I'm correct, and then we have Falcon versus Dr. Jellyfish coming just after that. Feel free to make lobby. There is one more game before you. Cool. So just messaging Falcon and Dr. Jellyfish just sorting out what they're going to be doing. So I'm assuming Tank's hosted under the name of Tank, because I can't see any other names. That might be his. Where are you? There we are. Hopefully we're not jumping into some random person's game. What's up, Ice Power Man? That is what happens when you don't love Marathi enough. Man, you were winning, like you had it so perfect, and then Marathi got sniped. Hey, hey. Map is River Amaxon. Give me 2 secs before starting. So, just going to change their names quickly. I don't want them to load in because it may, unfortunately, crash the game, which we don't want. So, Tank on the right-hand side. Boop. And on the left-hand side now, we have the Phoenix King. We'll call him Phoenix for now. But there we go. Good luck, lads. Looking forward to this. Start when ready. So the good thing about this format, and it being best of one, and we can bounce between the players who have created lobbies already, there's basically like no downtime, which is really useful and cool. Duck, did you see the Winged Lancer short trailer from CA? There's a shot of a Chaos Rider being unhorsed by Lance. Could that mean we are getting new Cav versus Cav animations? I did indeed see the little trailer. I did not think about that. I hope so. If we could see some animations from them, that'd be really cool. Yeah, man, Takoyaki played really well as well there, Ice. But, yeah, you looked really solid. You'd push into the back line, shutting down a load of your opponent's troops, and then all of a sudden, Marathi got forced off the field, and it was an uphill struggle from there. Hey, Ducky, I dropped a legendary quick battle replay. Awesome, man. I will check it out. I actually need to do my weekend's videos as well. We have a video that's ready to go up, but I'm going to be dropping it after this. What's up, Professor Pone and Hamoon? How's it going? No cam today, sad. Whereas the Mighty Duck Boy. I normally do camera if it's in between games. But because we're like just bouncing straight between all of them, there's no real downtime. I think having my camera on mid-battle, I don't think many people like it. Because it kind of blocks part of the screen. Which can circle a little, obviously. One mistake and you become mistaken. Oh, let's have a nice little stretch. Good to see so many people here, though. Hope you do enjoy this format. It's been pretty good fun so far. Very excited as well for Falcon's build, because I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but it seemed like a real fun one to play. But he's got a tough challenger. Dr. Jellyfish is certainly no joke. I've faced him many times in tournaments, and he's a very talented player. So, but first and foremost, let's focus on more High Elves. So, a load of High Elves today, which is really cool to see. And the Phoenix King, of course, is bringing Tyrion. What an absolute legend. And I love Tyrion. He does a lot of damage, very mobile and fast on his horse. He does unfortunately struggle a little bit with mass, can get pinned in and slaughtered. So, of course, it's kind of all his buffs, Sunfang, as well as his buffs to his stats and so forth, and the Heart of Avalon. With a Mage of Life coming with Earthblood and Shield of Thorns, and then for the rest of the build, it's pretty basic stuff. Spearmen and White Lions are going to be forming the main battle line. We have triple Dragon Princes, which is epic! Triple Dragon Princes riding forward with Tyrion leading them, and he's got double Shadow Warriors. The idea of this build is you pressure your opponent with the Shadow Warriors, slowly fall back as the Silverhelms crash into the enemy time and time again, and then eventually you fall behind the main line. So I like this build quite a bit, but how will that fare up against Tank's Vampire Counts? One of the best Vampire Count players in the game. I mean, one of the best players non-stop, but particularly with his counts. His main battle line is zombies. We do have some skeleton spearmen protecting the flanks, and some Graveguard in the central pocket of that secondary battle line, who bring a bit more meat to the formation. His hero core is a double White King, it would seem. I think there was a second White King. Yeah, looks like they're darting all over the place. Yeah, we do have the double White King on horseback, supported by Henrik Kemmler here, who's a lord you don't get to see terribly often. He does have the Lord of the Undeaf, so he can summon Krell, Undeaf Resurgent, Raise Dead, Val's Dance Macabre, and Invocation in the Heck. Double Vargulf as well, and some Blood Knights. This is a pretty rock and roll build from Tank, and it may run over the High Elves if they're not careful, but I think with some good micromanagement from Phoenix King, who is one of the players who can pull off great micromanagement, there is certainly good hope, particularly with the triple Dragon Princes trying to outtrade the double Blood Knights, which you can certainly do with the support of Tyrion. I love the idea of the White King with Scab Escape actually like this, pushing forward. Unfortunately, Shadow Warriors, of course, are in that more spread out formation, so don't do much damage. Tyrion does just taunt the White King a little bit. There's like, hey bud, I'm just going to chase you off and drive you away. Dragon Princess New crash into zombies, and it's free damage value in the end. It's not going to take any damage in return. As I say that, they get a little bit of friendly fire on them from the Shadow Warriors. The Hero Core and the Monster Core come out of the woods, looking to try and apply pressure to Tyrion and these skirmishers. And will the Shadow Warriors have time? Maybe a miscalculation. Looks like Phoenix King, trying to correct this error, is pushing forward with his main line, and I think he's done that just in time, because the Shadow Warriors might not be able to make it back with the Vargulfs and Dragon Princes just streaming towards them. The Dragon Princes may be forced to commit to a fight they don't really want up against these large, scary creatures. Spearmen are going to be driving forward to look and support, and looks like they're just about going to be able to make it. Beautiful timing by Phoenix King to get these troops back in time, but unfortunately for them, they can't focus down at the Graveguard and other units that they wanted to. Dragon Princes are getting a little bunched up now. A well-placed zombie summon shall pin these guys in place. They managed to run them over for the most part, but now Dragon Princes are getting caught and charged in the rear from Blood Knights. Luckily, they will have the support of the White Lions, and more Dragon Princes come in. Tyrion is going about his butcher's work, dueling a White King and slaughtering him in a matter of seconds. Look at him go down. Tyrion is no joke in hand-to-hand combat. Dragon Princes have committed to this fight. They probably want to pull out once again now and move forward with the White Lions. It looks like they came to protect that second unit. This is going to buy time for the Shadow Warriors to slowly rain fire in on the Vargulfs, which is definitely a good target for them. They don't have the most armor, and you can really start to drag them apart. Silverhelms have moved up in the formation, a little over-eager on this left side, but it's looking to hold back the Chaff and other units which could come in and affect this middle ground fight. Tyrion has killed that White King, and on to the next opponent as a lovely Scab Escape goes down the line on those Spearmen, basically killing them for good. More Shadow Warriors pouring fire in, though, to the Graveguard is a good target. Shield of Thorns has gone down on this big blob fight for the High Elves, and an overcast Earthblood, and all of a sudden these Dragon Princes are going to be able to go toe-to-toe with the Blood Knights, particularly when supported by the White Lions. Those massive axes cleaving through thick armor, with even more White Lions as well starting to come in for the surround, as Tyrion pops a mighty Sunfang down the line. Beautifully timed, roasting zombies. Only zombies, though, that's kind of a problem. I guess getting rid of the chaff is pretty key, though, to help deal with these single entities later on, but not the best damage value there. 69 kills for Tyrion, which is good work from him so far. Shadow Warriors continue to apply pressure. Problem they have, though, is the Graveguard are now free on this left-hand flank. We need to see one unit of Dragon Princes disengage, float over to the side, and help protect the Shadow Warriors, because all of that ammunition is going to be needed. They're really struggling now to deal with the Vargulfs, unfortunately, mainly due to Invocation of the Hex, and blob fights tend to go Vampire Count's way from my experience. More Spearmen here could be pushing in and trying to surround the Varghulf, who is now really struggling, actually. Maybe Tyrion can get to grips with him. Earthblood has once again gone down. White Lines doing a beautiful job so far, just holding the line. Graveguard have been hit on this flank by Dragon Princes. Beautiful, kind of battlefield awareness by Phoenix King, realising the threat that these guys possess to popping in and shutting down his Shadow Warriors, and instead getting ahead of the curve and shutting them down. Tank also has noticed this though, and he's been disengaging his Blood Knights from the main fight and looking to engage the Shadow Warriors. Dragon Princes shall be able to catch them on the counter charge. Both these guys come clattering in. Elite Cavalry versus Elite Cavalry, but we do have the support of some Spearmen here. However, the Varghulfs are on the approach. It looks like Tank realised he was losing this main blood fight and has decided instead, you know what, I'm going to try and force a different engagement on this left-hand side. Good Scabberscape does come down, but Krell is pretty much killed by Tyrion in hand-to-hand combat. Again, though, he is just a summon. I thought that was one of the White Kings he had managed to assassinate, which would have been a much better target. Tyrion drives his horse now into the Blood Knights. Looks like he's about to kill this one unit, but the Shadow Warriors will finally be shut down. However, they have expended the majority of their ammunition, so certainly not bad value from those guys whatsoever. Once again, a fantastic zombie summon from Tank. He really knows how to use these guys. Pop them in the back of those Dragon Princes who are currently terrified. Looking to pin them in place. Tyrion's going to be really tough for this build to drag down though. Graveguard are suffering quite badly, and Tyrion can go toe-to-toe with any of these large entities as long as he takes them on his terms and takes them on one-on-one. Heinrich Kemmler has popped his extra melee defense, but is still suffering at the moment. Tyrion is getting bogged down though behind his own Dragon Princes, which could be a bit of a problem. Shadow Warriors looking to move into hand-to-hand combat. Blood Knights have eventually been overrun by the Dragon Princes, proving who's the better cavalry once and for all. More Dragon Princes are starting to rally to the cause, looking to lower their lances maybe after the Blood Knights. No, instead they fall back, looking to finish off the Graveguard. As things stand, I think it's looking pretty favourable for the High Elves, but at the same time, it is on a knife's edge and can certainly turn one way or another, and this is how that could happen. Invocation Heck popped on those Blood Knights, healing them up, and dealing with the mobility the High Elves have left. And then we can have some cycle charging into the other realms. And Tyrion's kind of getting a little bit over-eager here. He's done a good job so far, and maybe he can pull through these zombies just about in time. Luckily, the Varghulf buddy gives him a little helpful push and drags him away. Now, Tyrion does have the Heart of Avalon and can get a huge burst to his HP. He's charging in once again with the Dragon Princes. Unfortunately for Tyrion, he has to get very low before that activates, and oftentimes he will break before it really kicks in. He's hunting down Varghulfs, which is a good target. A lot of the Graveguard and zombies starting to crumble now. Dragon Prince has gone a last suicide charge into the Blood Knights as a glorious Scabberscape once again goes down the line, but a Sunfang shall answer it. Fight fire with fire. And yeah, that's going to catch a lot of the remaining chaff, butchering zombies once more. Balance power is currently in favour of the vampire counts as Tyrion starts to get a little bit danger low. That's also kind of the problem with his healing, because his army might break even though he's got so much more left to give. He's been buffing himself up here, adding that melee attack, defense, and physical resistance, and this Varghulf has nowhere to run. Tyrion is rapid. He's a speedy guy on that horse, and he'll easily catch down a Varghulf who attempts to run. However, he's been triple slammed. Do you stay in this fight and try to finish off the Varghulf, or do you retreat? It looks like he's trying to fight out, at least while his buffs are popped. I think he needs to pull back at the moment. White Lions going around the butcher's work, dragging down Royal Blood Knights to the dirt, which we always love to see. This White King looking quite happy though. Tyrion is on the prowl once more. Varghulf is going down, at least one of them, but there's another one left to come into the fray. Graveguard being finished off by a mixture of spearmen and beat-up Dragon Princes, as 3 of the loyal warriors still fighting to the death. Shadow Warriors have heard the cries of Alaphanar saying, "Get back in there or I will shoot you," so they've moved forward to help support Tyrion, who is not actually the biggest support of Alaphanar, I suppose, after what happens in the end times, but we don't count that as law, so it's fine. Shadow Warriors engaging in combat. White Lions are starting to run out of troops, and it could end up being Tyrion against the world here. If he can assassinate Kemmler, maybe there's a chance. Blood Knights are being dragged down as the White Lions continue to fight the royal bodyguards of Tyrion, it would seem. Unfortunately, some of them do flee. This could be pretty big. 82 spearmen coming back to answer the cries, and everything left is large, so they're going to be very, very well received if they do turn up. We have some more Shadow Warriors coming back into the fray. Tyrion looks like he is going to assassinate this Varghulf and finally finish it off. It's put up a fantastic fight though, but down it goes. Blood Knights themselves are starting to crumble and look to be doomed soon. Tyrion trying to focus down the Varghulf is probably the best idea. Maybe focus down the Varghulf or the White King, but once again, he is being double slammed. He needs to be fighting with his forces. Blood Knights attempt a cycle charge on this right-hand side, just to ink that last little bit of value out of them before they do disappear. Still a good idea. Shadow Warriors do now start pushing forward, and Tyrion getting danger low. Down to 1,800 health, but his buffs are once again active, meaning he's going to feel far more comfortable about taking this fight at the moment, plus getting an Earthblood on him is pretty tasty. White Lions will greatly appreciate that as well. 81 Spearmen have now started to push in on top of the Varghulf, who's being buffed right now. Its melee defense is pretty damn tanky. Dragon Prince is coming for a lancing charge, and they're trying to break the morale of the undead legions. Balance of power still in the Vampire Count's favour, despite how horrifically outnumbered they are. Just 3 models remaining, and the Varghulf is seeming to suffer. But Tyrion is terrified, and he flees before the might of the undead. Let's hope it is a feigned retreat. He should rally and come back. It is only a tear out, but his men don't know this at the moment, and all they can do is watch Tyrion run for his life, and he needs to be fighting, supporting these spearmen, or they will get dragged down here by the White King. Tyrion instantly decides to charge headlong back in. I wonder who's going to focus down. It seems like he's going for the nearest target at the moment, which is Heinrich Kemmler, who does pop a lovely zombie summon, and now this is going to allow the Varghulf to once again start cycle charging. Beautiful late game management by Tank, really one of the best at it. White Lions are coming back now to the main fight, as Tyrion is going to start moving up and around away from the zombies and try to find more expensive targets to assassinate. Shadow Warriors moving back in once more to try and take the fight to the enemy, and it looks like the Varghulf is going to be the main focus of attention for Tyrion. And how's he doing? Well, 1.3k health, certainly not too shabby. We're going to get a Sunfang come down on these zombies, looking just to break them as quickly as possible. I like that cast because it wasn't really in any danger of hitting too many friendly foes, and hopefully it will be able to make those zombies just completely and utterly crumble, which will stop the Varghulf from being able to cycle charge and all that good stuff. Tyrion looking a little worse for wears. Now, if he gets the Star of Avalon pulped without his army shattering and army losses kicking in, I think there's a chance. But without that, he is simply going to be doomed. And this White King is really doing the undead's work right here. Tyrion decides to move back just a little bit there and come back for another cycle, I'm sure. The mage is now getting engaged by all 3 single entities, which is not a fun time for her. She did not sign up for this. White Lions are being terrified and forced back. Tyrion tries to rally his troops. No, come back, guys, we need you. Particularly these spearmen, who are now do have 24 leaderships. They should be coming back realistically, but maybe the Varghulf will, unfortunately, kind of be too close, and these guys will continue to run. Come back, guys. Tyrion charges into combat. Star of Avalon is popped, or Heart of Avalon, I should say. But this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. The Heart of Avalon pops, but armor losses comes in. That is why it is a real dodgy item. But very well good display by the Phoenix King. He put up a brilliant fight versus Tank. And Tyrion himself, 4,392 damage value. Epic display by him. White Lions performed well. 1.2k damage, 630, 742, not too bad. Shadow Warriors, masterful protection of them. 1,800 damage value, 1,700 on the other. And all 3 Dragon Princes did pretty solid. 1.2, 1.4k, and on this unit, 717. Tank realised what was happening. Realised the situation of what was going on, and that he was losing that blob fight. Repositioned his troops, moved up and around, back round to the left, and that's what won him the game. Tank coming in with Heinrich Kemmler, getting 626 damage value. White King's 1.3k, the other one getting slaughtered early on. Of course, zombies don't really get much damage value. Likewise, the Graveguard even struggled quite badly, 600 and 700 damage value respectively. Good play with Blood Knights, considering they were outnumbered. The 2 against 3 against Dragon Princes. Still managed to get 1,400 damage value. And 2.8. Oh my god, that is disgusting. Both the Varghulf's 1,000 and 2,000 damage value respectively. Brilliant work by both of them. GG. Well, I did get a bit lucky. Yeah. You hear armor losses. If not, it would have been GG's. 100%. Yeah, 100%, man. Great game, though. And that's my problem with Tyrion as a Lord. Like, it happens so often. He just breaks, almost always, before it pops, and you kind of run and chase him down, or you get army losses, because it's obviously going to happen later in the battle. Yeah, I think that... Well, I think they had it. He was still struggling a bit up against the triple threat, but he was doing rather well. Hart needs to add a leadership bonus effect. That'd be quite cool. That would be quite cool. It only pops once, I believe. I believe it only pops once. So up next, we are going to have Falcon versus Dr. Jellyfish. So let's quickly change the names before we hop in. So we have Mr. Falcon, who is also bringing high elves. We've seen 2 high elf losses so far. Hopefully we can get a bit of a revenge for them here. And we have Mr. Dr. Jelly. We're calling him Dr. Jelly for now. Here's Dr. Jellyfish, but just so it fits in nicely. Boop. Man, the little ducks on the screen look so naked about the scores in them, but of course this is best of 1, so there's no real need. So, let's hop into this. So what we're going to do after this, I believe, is probably semi-final 2 first. Is probably going to be the best bet. Because then Falcon doesn't have to bounce out and bounce in. I mean, it doesn't really matter either way, I guess, because it's only best of 1, so... Hey, champs. How's it going? So the map will be Oakenhammer. I tried. Oakenhammer is the map. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, man. I've literally just seen... Bokito Boss, love your content and casting. Hope you're doing well. Want to see more tourneys in the future. Cheers and have a nice cast. Thank you so much, man. That's really appreciated. You guys have been so generous over the last couple of days, dropping donations and stuff, and it really does give you a real nice feeling inside. You're like, hey, people are enjoying what they've seen and stuff. So you're the MVP, man. Thank you so much. And we have Falcon on the table for you guys, the mighty man, myth, the legend himself. He has, of course, been taking a bit of a break, I think, from tournament action, but he's back here with the fun tournaments and fun build. He shall revenge us. What's up, Phoenix King, man? Super well played. If you could send me some replays of Tyrion getting similar value, I'd be very happy. Map is changed. I think the map's meant to be Oakenhammer. Map's all good. I mean, this map's fine. Map is all good. Both maps are fine. They're both pretty much the same. I don't think it's a full Eshin build, unfortunately. We can actually see it on the screen right now. But it's not a secret because these guys obviously have already seen each other's builds and stuff be played. I don't know where Dr. Jellyfish's name comes from, no. Sons of the Mountain is his clan. So we saw Grombrindle... actually, we didn't see Grombrindle earlier because he got to the round before the quarterfinals. Ice Power managed to take him out. He is kind of one of the heads of Sons of the Mountains. It's a pretty cool build. So I think it is rather Eshin themed. And I mean, it is Clan Eshin, so come on. Really cool work here by Dr. Jellyfish. We need to give him a massive shout out for bringing such a cool build. He has a bucket ton of Death Runners, including the Death Squad. Man, the Death Squad have to be one of the coolest named units in the game. They're so badass with their Weeping Blades and amazing 41 melee attack. They can really chew through the enemy. We have Double Assassin given a bit of support. Unfortunately, no Deathmaster Snickage, so is it really a true Eshin build? I say so, because, I mean, come on. Load of Death Runners, load of Assassins. We do have a double Warplock Giselle. Triple Warplock Giselle, in fact, and 1 unit of the Poison Wind Mortars. Some Skaven Slaves for a bit of support, just dotted all the way along to try to buy time and hold back the enemy. And leading the force with a Grey Seal of Plague, because those summons are so goddamn good. Comes with Arcane Conduit, Warpstone Scroll, we have Vermintide, the Dreaded 13th Spell, Unholy Clamour, and Scorch. And just look at him go. How can you not love this guy? He's like, yeah! He's like on a roller coaster. For the forces of the mighty Dark Lord himself, the might of Falcon, trying to avenge the High Elves, it looks like he's turned to the dark side, bringing Shadow Warriors. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units, in fact, of the mighty Shadow Warriors. Are any of them Shadow Walkers? Nope, looks like just the basic ones. We have a load of Cav, Silver Helms, 2 units, in fact. Double War Lions. Do they have a cool colour scheme with this faction? I think it's relatively normal, unfortunately. Up in the skies, we do have an Archmage of Metal, so going pretty bad to the bones here. Searing Doom and Plague of Rust shall be the poisons of choice. And we have Illyrian Reavers, a load of them. So it's really going to come down to the Shadow Warriors, and if they can pay for themselves and get on key targets. Because Warplock Giselles are going to be a bit of a pain for this build, likewise the Mortars. And how can we forget Falcon bringing the Frostheart Phoenix? One of the worst units, I think, flying-wise. I don't know if that's too harsh to say. But the Blizzard Aura, as well as Attuned to Magic coming in. But because he's got so much magic, his abilities aren't very useful, I don't think. What's up, Donut? I like your enthusiasm, thank you. I don't know if you talk about mine or someone else's. Go Falcon Champ, save the glory of the High Elves. I think he's fighting for the Extreme Meme team as well, as I think both the XMT guys got eliminated. Oh yeah, we're seeing Frosty in action. We're seeing Frosty. Oh, I don't hate Skaven. Skaven a cool faction, man. Like, they were a little bit too powerful for too long, and kind of just people just bringing weapon teams was a little obnoxious. And the Poison Wind Globadiers, but as an actual faction, they're so fun and thematic. They're really quite cool. Shadow Warriors are currently hidden, which is good news for them because they're going to be the main focus of attention of the Giselles and the Poison Wind Mortars. At the moment, the Mortars don't have too many good targets because they cannot see those Shadow Warriors. So we do have a death box here from Dr. Jellyfish, looking to push forward and deal with the enemy. Cavalry going to be starting to move around the flanks from Falcon, though, waiting for the right opportunity to strike. Good luck, have fun, they both say, which is good to see. And yeah, the High Elves certainly outnumbered here. Now, the Frostheart Phoenix is a bit of a tank, and could take some damage, I suppose, from the Giselles, who are currently focused firing down the Illyrian Reavers. He should be unbreakable since when you pop, and the Everqueen... Oh, Magnus, yeah, I think like he should just get, maybe not unbreakable just for balance sake, like Tyrion, I'm assuming we're talking about the last game still, in the Half Avalon, but give him like a buff to his leadership, so if the game's not completely gone, he might actually come back and continue to fight. Shadow Warriors are now going to start focus firing down the enemy, and they are aiming for those Poison Wind Mortars. We're going to see the first Searing Doom come down as well. Clan Vulcan Tail Slashes dodge it, but the Poison Wind Mortars are a little bit too slow, taking huge burst damage there, and the Clan Vulcans also get hit quite a bit. The Frostheart Phoenix is moving forward, taking a huge amount of damage, maybe looking just to suicide charge in and annoy the enemy. It has been hit as well by the Warp Storm Scroll. Oh my god, that is such a mouthful. And does land and kind of just duke back and forth right now. Shadow Warriors still doing some nice pressure, but that Poison Wind Mortar is doing massive damage now onto the Shadow Warriors. In the back line, the Illyrian Reavers have started to loop up and around, looking to crash in on the enemy and try to break through the Skaven slaves so they can assassinate this back line. Poison Wars have been terrified and dealt with at the cost of the Frostheart Phoenix, though, which, you know, cost money-wise maybe isn't worth it, but it is a necessity right here, because this central core of the Skaven build needs to be dealt with if Falcon wants a chance of winning. He's doing just that. The Warlord Giselles just get absolutely slammed on in all different angles. We do have a summon of Clan Rats looking to put pressure on the Shadow Warriors. Storm Vermin as well, so the Dread 13 spell went down, breaking one of the units of Shadow Warriors. So much pressure is now on the back line. Some of the Silver Helms are coming back to help support. Big fat Searing Doom goes down on the Natty Bobus, as well as those Warlord Giselles, and more Illyrian Reavers start to charge into the deep one more time. Very close game so far. A lovely Scorch attempt comes down by Dr. Jellyfish, but the Shadow Warriors of Falcon manage to juke and avoid. Poor Frostheart Phoenix doesn't have any healing like the Flamesfire one, so it's just going to be on low health for the majority of the game. Silver Helms do pull out, but there's a lot of Death Runners dotted around, and they're good against cavalry in kind of consistent combat. If you cycle charge them down, they can be dealt with quite quickly. Bobus are being dealt with. Looks like Illyrian Reavers are going to be hopping on top of this second unit of Warlord Giselles, and the Archmage is having a whale of a time. Doing a decent job up against Death Runners, but needs to be careful. There are double assassins nearby. Great Sir Plague's doing a good job running over the forces, and it looks like Balance Parries are well and truly in the hands of the forces of Dr. Jellyfish at the moment, but he's got a lot of summons on the field as well. Skaven Slaves and Clan Rats trying to deal with the triple Shadow Warrior threat, and it doesn't look like they've got any help coming anytime soon. Illyrian Reavers need to get over here and kind of break these guys off the field, because those Shadow Warriors need to get all of their spells popped. Searing Doom once again comes in onto the Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers and Warlord Giselles, looking to shut them down. Illyrian Reavers, now that the Skaven forces have been broken, needs to just start picking apart all these loose units and force them off the field, because this battle is certainly not over yet. Shadow Warriors continuing to rain fire in. Looks like they're focusing down the assassins for now, but all the Shadow Warriors are back with relatively decent ammunition left. So if Falcon can turn this into a more stretched, kitey game, which looks like he's doing just that, he certainly still has a chance. War lines floating over to this left-hand side to help support the Illyrian Reavers, and now the Death Runners are getting peppered by long-range pressure. One big problem, though, for the force of the High Elves shall be this double assassin and Grey Seer of Plague, causing all manner of nuisances and problems if any of these kind of characters start to land. Searing Doom comes in, but it only just about clips the Death Squad, and Skaven have so much potential just to pour into the enemy back line now. There's a lot of crossfire, and the Death Squad only have 20 armor on them. The Triple Heroes kind of needs to keep up, I think, with their main push, because if they get isolated like this, they're going to be just being ignored, and Falcon's going to pop over and just break all these other troops off the field. In this sense, we can see Silver Helms chasing down the Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers, forcing off these Jezzails, although Dr. Jellyfish needs to realise his Bobus are back in action. Likewise, Falcon has some Reavers and is just vibing next to some Death Runners, who could be pretty key, but I understand this is a very stressful situation for both players here, and where the battle's realistically going to be won or lost. So Shadow Warriors once again get hit, it seems, by a Storm Vermin summon. They're going to have to flee away from that and just try and ensure it doesn't really get any damage value. Poor Assassin's also getting hit quite a bit. A beautifully well-placed Scorch comes down, though, by Jellyfish, and it catches those Shadow Warriors, doing some really nice burst damage as they turn to unleash hell once more. The Archmage does land on top of the combination of Skaven Slaves and Death Runners, terrifying and breaking them. Frostheart Phoenix still going strong into the late game. I love the play here with those War Lions, and this is a real divide and conquer situation, and it seems to be working quite well. In this sense, Silver Helms can now come back. They are being focused down by the Natty Bobus, which is a bad situation for them, but likewise the Death Runners have kind of been forgotten as well by Mr. Jellyfish. The Grey Serve Plague is trying to push into the Shadow Warriors, not a bad idea whatsoever, particularly with the assistance of the Assassins, while the Storm Vermin are active, but it looks like for the most part Falcon's going to be ignoring this and just falling back, kiting where possible, and clearing up the rest of the battlefield. Poor Silver Helms, remember them! Just getting shot in the face, and if these guys break, unfortunately, of course, they will be forced off the battlefield. Over here, the Assassin is trying to chase down Shadow Warriors and managing to catch them just about, but still taking a considerable amount of damage. These two heroes are now slightly isolated. It looks like the Archmage may float over here to say what's up to them and start doing some nice damage. Shadow Warriors continue to kite back at the moment as more War Lines do emerge into the fray once more with the Frostheart Phoenix in tow. Silver Helms have been caught by Skaven Slaves, so at least they get some damage value here, and we'll probably be able to overrun the Skaven Slaves if the Natty Bobus don't finish them off first with all that range pressure. The Lilian Rivers are starting to float over to try and assist these Shadow Warriors and just hold back the Assassin for a brief moment and those Skaven Slaves. Looks like we do have some Warriors coming back. It is Skaven Slaves, so they're probably not going to last too long. Silver Helms have now finally been remembered. A little bit too little too late, though, as they may get broken before they come back into the main fray. But if they hop on top of the Natty Bobus, they will be able to break them rather quickly, and that'd be a huge boon to Falcon's forces, as these Illyrian Reavers are beaten back by Death Runners. And this is a healthy unit. 50 models is certainly no joke, but the battle is rather spread, and that's exactly what this high health build wants, as the Assassin seems to be getting a little bit of a hello from the Frostheart Phoenix here. However, it looks like Dr. Jellyfish does realise that his initial kind of spreading out maybe wasn't the best idea, and it's going to be pulling back all his characters together, which is definitely a good way, I think, of trying to win this game. Ammunition has started to run relatively low on the Shadow Warriors here. In fact, one unit completely gone. And then Silver Helms, will they hold the line? Oh, trying to get revenge for the damage they initially took. They do manage to charge in 2 leadership they're just about holding, but they break. That is a disaster because the Natty Bobus can now obviously start to pour fire into the enemy from long range, and that's going to be a pretty key moment in the battlefield, I think. Rather high Tasman does go down, lowering the melee attack by 40 of all these troops. They do manage to break the Death Runners, however, which is quite nice there, and very well played as well by Falcon. Simply going to fall back. I'm not going to get involved with that nasty kind of trickery, and I think that's the right idea. Some clan rats have been summoned at the moment. Archmage looking very healthy. We still have some Searing Dooms. Seeing a Searing Doom come down here would be lovely, and that's just what we're going to get. Double Assassins need to watch out. Are they going to be able to avoid the damage? No, they're not. Oof, that is some nasty work coming in on them. Grey Serve Plague also taking a little bit of work there. Shadow Warriors seem to want to focus down the Grey Serve Plague, which is probably a good idea. If you can break him off the field, the rest of the army will most likely lose heart and morale. Natty Bobus are starting to move over once again, start to add their firepower to the battlefield. If they can hit the Frostheart Phoenix, it's very low, and it'd be a good unit to get off the field due to the fact it does still cause terror. Shadow Warriors managed to juke the Scorch. Nice micro there by Falcon, as you would expect. Silver Helms, as well as the War Lions, are getting ready to feast tonight. Frostheart Phoenix is very tired, just flapping those little wings like, oh, someone put me out of my misery. Waiting for the Clan Rat Summon to go is a good idea, but it looks like these forces are going to start moving back to try and ally themselves with the Skaven Slave Spears. Archmage has realised Natty Bobus are here. He's going to say hello to you as well. War Lions have popped over. They're wavering on the charge in, but it seems like the Natty Bobus probably going to get what's coming to them at last. The big old Frostheart Phoenix is going to start cycle charging down those Assassins. Shadow Warriors are being forced into hand-to-hand combat. If the Assassins do get surrounded and charge effectively enough, then morale may start to break. Balanced power slightly in the favour of High Owls, but it's certainly not over yet. Looks like we do have Assassin's Trophy came and got popped here on the Archmage of Metal. But likewise, a second rival High Talisman does go down by the forces of Skaven just when an overcast Plague of Rust came down. That must be so infuriating. Beautiful counterpunch, though, by Dr. Jellyfish there. Shadow Warriors will be adding their might, though, to the damage on the Grey Seer, so he's still taking a little bit of work. And the High Elves, once again, we're not going to stand and fight while you have that active. We're simply going to pull back with the majority of our forces. Skaven Slave Spears are going to get feasted upon by the War Lions, perhaps, it would seem. They seem to just be kind of running over here and scouting out the enemy, but you can also leave them to suffer. The Grey Seer of Plague getting very, very low at the moment, and Plague of Rust does outlast the rival High Talisman. I think now is the time, now is the hour, and it looks like Falcon agrees as the Frostheart Phoenix charges in, trying to assassinate the assassin, and he has terrified one of them away. Archmage swooping in, and I think it's going to be too much. I think this is going to be too much for the Skaven. Dr. Jellyfish played a phenomenal game up against one of the world's best players, and Dr. Jellyfish is a really seasoned tournament player, but I think the might of the Frostheart Phoenix is going to be too much. I think it's going to be too much. It looks like the Plague Priest has decided to run, and the Assassin's with it. GG's, man. GG's. That was so close. I think it really came down to when Jellyfish had such a defensive formation. When it got crumbed, he pushed forward to shut down the Shadow Warriors, which is the right idea, but he chased a little while too long, and the game becomes so stretched. Falcon was able to kite and assassinate. Real good divide and conquer tactic. Looks like he's been learning from Mr. Napoleon himself. Archmage of Metal, 950 damage value. Good work there. Shadow Warriors, 1.3k, 900, 400, 986, 865. All performing pretty well. Cavalry as well, getting up to those 1000 damage value, which we like to see. But what we're really here for is the Frostheart Phoenix, 650 damage value. As for Dr. Jellyfish, the Natty Bobo's got 1100 damage value, but the other Giselles really did struggle. So did the Poison Wind Mortars. His army just didn't, even with the summon, didn't quite have enough mass to hold back all the enemy cavalry. Death Runners did a relatively solid job across the board, but the Assassins and Grey Seer did eventually get dragged down. Looks like the lads have left, so I guess we'll be going back to the first semi-final and then doing number 2 afterwards. Welcome to the new High Elf meta. That was intense, man. That was intense. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. They really put on a good display for you. So let's check the... Cool. Thank you so much, Phoenix Duck, by the way, or Phoenix King, as you should be called, for sending me those replays. So let's hop into the semi-final next. Boo, 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 boo. Let's see if they've made... So I'm just hopping over to... Check some account Discord. Let's see if they've actually made it up now. Looks like they haven't, so I'll send them a little message. I mean, I can always host it. So up next... Oh, looks like Challenge is having a little heartbreak. We will have Bowmore versus Takoyaki, and then we have Tank versus Falcon. So I'm just going to do their scores for them, as it looks like they haven't gone through for some reason. There we go. And let's pop Falcon through as well. Cool. So, Bowmore versus Takoyaki. Hope you guys have a lobby open. If not, I can host, and then we'll be hopping straight into that one. But I don't see it here anywhere. So, I'll host. Let's do Bowmore versus Tako. And try and get these lads in. Oh yeah, he played really well, man. Nearly all covered in jelly and managed to survive. Gnarly is here, man. I love the White Lions and Frostheart Phoenix play. It's so funny. It's so funny. So this map should be Alpine Ridge next. And then the next semi-final will be Schlosterhafen, and then the final Iron Sand Desert. So... yeah, lobby up, lads. After this game... will be Falcon versus Tank. Please make lobby. And then it's on to the finals. Blood Knight's going to rampage here. Oh, they could be scary for sure, man. Tank vs Falcon is almost unwinnable for Falcon, I think. What with the builds on display, it's going to be tough for sure. It's going to be really tough. 100%. So Bowmore is ready. Hey champ. Hey bud. Map is Alpine Ridge. Time to get ruined by Queen Bess. Hey, Taco. So these guys can start when ready, I guess. Actually, give me 2 seconds. Oh no, I think I did the scoreboard, didn't I? Fingers crossed. Start when ready. Looks like they're going to be going straight away. Man, Tank vs Falcon is always a good showcase, but yeah, I think his build may suffer. Shadow Warriors can do really nice work to the Vargulfs and drag them down, but Double Blood Knights are going to be tricky. I mean, Silver Helms combined with War Lions can do nice work on them if you catch them some Searing Dooms, but it's hard. It's very hard to catch Tank out of position. And even when you do, he's very good at realising the situation early and then repositioning his troops, which we actually saw in the game against Phoenix game. Poison Wars can be tough, yeah. And here we go, straight into it. Man, these streams are so much fun because they're so, like, just snappy, you know? Best of ones, bounce around, having a good time. Just gonna double check Discord quickly, make sure we have no questions. Because we were going to do the other semi-final first, but because they left, I was like, oh, okay. Because it was to save, like, Falcon having to hop out and then hop back in the game afterwards. But I think they're all good, so we'll hop into it. So, for the forces of Bowmore, you've already seen these builds, but for anyone who's joined late, we'll go through them super quickly. A load of Skaven Slaves is the main idea, as well as double Poison Wind Globedeers and double Warplock Jezzails. Once again, we have the Grey Seal of Plague coming with all those good summons, but the real kind of interesting point around this build is double Chieftain on Bonebreakers just slamming the ground in unison, looking ripped as hell. Look at them go. One of the coolest models in the game. A very unique stylistic choice for a mount. And double Mutant Rat Ogre, which is really good fun. As for the undead forces, we've got a couple of scurvy dogs, some flyers as well in the form of deck droppers, and on this flank we have deck droppers with handguns. Main battle line is of course just a bucket tide of rotten flesh from the zombies. Double zombie pirate gunnery mob bombers, depth guard, gunnery white, vampire fleet admiral of pistols as we're calling him, Law of Pistols, not Law of Vampires, Law of Pistols for sure. Pole arms and Queen Bess. I think this could be a little rough, unfortunately, for the forces of the Skaven, but if he can get his bigger units into the back line, shut down the bombers, shut down key targets, he's got a really good chance. No, this should not be, how's that? Oh, yeah, I haven't changed the names. Bad duck. So, yeah, Bowmore. Versus Daco, we're calling for now. Go. That was my bad. What's up, David the White Lizard? How's it going, champion? Glad to finally see Mutant Rat Ogres. They're very cool. They're very cool indeed. Oh, baby, the best build is back. Hell yeah. It's some cool stuff. It is some cool stuff for sure. Balance power is heavily in favour of the vampires before the start of the battle. That's pretty interesting. Good luck, have fun. Looks like the lads are ready. Bowmore needs to be careful here, because he's really going to want to get aggressive and push as quickly as possible into the enemy formation, but the Scurvy Dogs can punish him if he does do so and wrap up and around and really start shutting down these units. We have some Eshin Trides hiding it in the wings, which is a really fun idea, so I think they're going to go for the long con of moving all the way up around this flank through the trees and then hopping on top of Queen Bess, which I think is a good gambit because the opponent obviously doesn't know they're there. These deck dropping flying troops are going to be a nightmare because the only units the Skaven have to deal with them are the Jezzails, and they really don't want to be shooting these small hitbox flying units. They want to be hopping on top of Queen Bess. They'll be hopping on top of the Vampire Fleet Admiral of Pistols. They want to be hunting down all these kind of cool units. Deck droppers are raining fire down once more, though, aiming for the Chieftains, which I think is a good shout. Scurvy Dogs are very close to his Warplock Jezzails, and I don't know if Bowmore has noticed this. He needs to keep these Chieftains nearby, otherwise the Scurvy Dogs shall feast tonight! And feast they shall. Hop on top of these Jezzails, going to be shutting them down, and this is going to be a big problem, I think, for the Skaven forces. But up in the skies, Warpstone Storm Scroll hits both of them and does massive damage. I completely forgot he had that. That is an amazing play. Both of the deck droppers have been dealt with, but for a trade of the Warplock Jezzails. Not the worst trade throughout. for the force of the Skaven, but now the Scurvy Dogs may be able to also help on top of the Poison Wing Globadiers, and that shall start to become a bit more of a disastrous situation in the back lines. Similar situation happening on this left-hand flank. Warlord Giselles have been dealt with, so a lot of the range pressure from the Skaven is already off the field. However, they still have, you know, the Greyseer Plague and a lot of Poison Wing Globadiers, so you can start to apply pressure and break down this enemy front line. Eshin Triads are now starting to move forward. Concealment bombs have been popped. We're going to see a beautiful Scorch and Overcast 1 coming down on those bombers, getting them down about a third health. Nice stuff there. Deck droppers are crumbling to dust, and they're very unlikely, I think. I know 2 leadership, they may just be about able to stabilise them. We still have a lot of chieftains who can push in and do good work. In the back line, Clan Rats combined with the Poison Wing Globadiers actually managed to force off the Scurvy Dogs. Surprising there. The Mutant Rat Ogres are currently the focus of attention for the handgunners, who I think would probably have been my pick to use that scroll on, because they're going to be doing more damage, I think, to this style of build. Bombers are now going to be getting hunted down. Lovely Invocation Heck goes down on the deck droppers to keep them alive and healthy. This left flank is completely crumbling for Takoyaki as the Greyseer Plague does start to push through the middle, looking to engage with the Depth Guard into glorious hand-to-hand combat. A Summon of Storm Vermin has gone down, and they're looking to surround and assassinate the Vampire Fleet Admiral. Takoyaki needs to be careful to protect this guy, because they will be able to chew through him rather well. But Opium Amulet has been popped. We're also going to be able to see his really cool wind attack coming down as well. We summon of the zombie pirate deckhand mobs in the front here, who can now turn and unleash hell upon the Greyseer, or focus down the Mutant Rat Ogre, which they're probably going to want to do, because they're currently getting supported by the deck droppers in the skies. But that Vampire Fleet Admiral needs to be careful. He is danger low. The Greyseer needs to chuck its body on the line and really look to assassinate and finish him off. Clan Rats have been popped up, trying to block him in place. Come on, Mutant Rat Ogre, you can do it. Bring him down. Avenge Marathi. And with one big body slam onto the carcass, he finishes off the enemy general, but this battle is far from over. In the back lines, we do have some zombie pirate deck mobs trying to protect the Might of Queen Bess, but double Triads are now on the back line, assassinating the Gunnery White and forcing Queen Bess away, who fires a shot like a cannon. Have you guys ever seen that before? That went directly straight. That was so bizarre. Hitting some of the enemy, but also some of his own Depth Guard hit. Greyseer looking pretty strong. Double handgunners up in the skies. Have certainly done a ton of good damage though. And it looks like one of the Mutant Rat Ogres is running for its life. But the other 3 single entity monsters here are doing a pretty solid, decent job. And can now start to apply pressure to these bombers and stuff in the back line. He's just going to have to accept he's going to take a lot of damage from the handgunners, I think. And push forward onto other key targets. Balance power is dead even, but it looks like Queen Bess is just about going to go down here with the Eshin Triads well and truly amongst them. Down to, 7 leadership. They're going to crumble pretty soon here. Gunnery White is currently surrounded. Chieftain doing a good job starting to beat him down with the support of these Eshin Triads, but the bombers come in! Oh no! These Triads getting annihilated, and maybe a bit of an overextended situation for these bad boys. We're also going to see a summon come down, most likely of Clan Rats, to just push away the bombers, get them away from these Triads who did suffer quite badly under their tyrannical rule. There we go. Deckhand mobs being dealt with here by the Poison Wing Globadiers. We still have 2 units of them left, and they can do really nice damage in the late game. Balance power is, for the first time, in the favour of Skaven. They do have some summons on the field, and those bombers are starting to go down. Queen Bess, unfortunately, swings and misses there. And still firing, still 1 leadership, despite being harassed by so many Triads for so long. I guess a ton of the units are actually stuck on the cannon itself, so only a few of the rats are actually fighting at a time. Once again, Queen Bess fires a direct shot straight into those Eshin Triads, and that looks like it may be able to turn the tide of battle, perhaps, as the deck droppers continue to rain fire down. The Greyseer Plague starting to get danger low, but there's a chieftain nearby. Mutant Rat Ogre has raid, and there's another chieftain in the distance, so maybe it's going to be too much of an ask here. Queen Bess once again launches a shot up into the skies. A glorious picture there through the sunset, aiming at those retreating Skaven slaves, trying to force them off the field for good. Polearms slowly being kited back by Poison Wing Globadiers, who have broken at the moment. We have more rats who can return to the field, certainly going to help push that balance of power. But it looks like all the micromanagement is currently going down here on the front line, as that chieftain is getting lit up, and the handgunners have so much ammo. Like, so much still left. This could cause disaster for the Skaven. They're winning everywhere on the battlefield, apart from the air game, and 1 chieftain has now gone down. Queen Bess is still somehow going strong, despite being harassed for so long. The second Mutant Rat Ogre may be getting dealt with, but not before he gets a word in with the Gunnery White, who is going to get slaughtered himself. Mutant Rat Ogre certainly going to get finished off and dragged away here by the handgunners. who can now switch their attention onto the Grey Seer of Plague. There's one more Chieftain, and we still have the Poison Wing Globadiers using a lovely little bit of friendly fire in the most scathing way possible. Handgunners are now switching their focus onto the Chieftain, looking to rein him in with as many shots as possible. Queen Best's crew's just running for their life, but they're minus 42 leadership at the moment, so they're probably going to be done for. Deck Jobber's starting to get low on ammo, but still 7 volleys here. The other unit has quite a few as well. Deck Jobber's going to be moving into hand-to-hand combat, not a bad idea up against the Poison Wing Globadiers. Need to be careful, those Chieftain can hop in, and this is big news. So all of the ground forces for the Vampires have been dealt with, so what they're going to have to do is charge in with one unit like this, wait for it to die, and then charge in the second most useless unit, and then the third, and so on, because this ammunition could be enough to turn the tide of battle, but because, obviously, of the, if you have no ground troops, you have to commit to a fight, that may prove huge here for Bowmore's Skaven forces. Army loss is getting danger close now as well, and I think the Skaven shall be moving on to the finals, but who shall they face? Shall it be Tank, or shall it be Falcon? We'll have to wait and see. The Bat's trying to carry. You can aim shots like the cannon like that. That is, yeah, that is bizarre. That was so weird. I don't know if it's worth it as well when your micro is kind of needed elsewhere, but if Takoyaki can pull it off, which he did, look rather cool as well. Queen Best kind of only 1.2k damage value though, not as impressive as we've seen in the past. The handgunners though, 1,500 damage value, 1,800. I think the bat would have been over a lot earlier if that lovely little scroll had been popped on them instead of this second unit. Although they got healed up and still got pretty good value as well. 745, 673. Hounds did a good display as well. Bombers unfortunately got shut down. Likewise the Depth Guard and the Leadership Corps really got assassinated. The poor Vampire Fleet Admiral of Pistols and Vampires only got 82 damage value. Double Mutant Rallygo pretty strong here. 1,400 damage value, 755. Warlock Giselles unfortunately suffering really badly. Poison Wing Globadiers still got decent work though. 740 damage value, 600 is not terrible. Asian Triads coming in with 1,100 and 388 damage value respectively. Did a good job putting pressure on the enemy's back line. Chieftains really struggled to get any kind of grips on the enemy. 305, two 300s I think, yeah, damage value. And the Plague Caster did a beautiful job though. Summons coming in quite clutch. 1,600 damage value as well. GG's champion. GG. See you in the finals. Good to see Bowmore going so far as well. Best is the only one that can make it worth it apart from Doom Diver sniping. Yeah, Doom Divers are pretty accurate on their own right, but I can certainly see that being a bonus as well. Imagine if you could take over a soldier and play Mountain Blade in a Warhammer battle. Well, Phoenix King, I believe there's a mod coming out for Mountain Blade where they're trying to make that possible, which I may eventually buy the game and play it, but I kind of missed the boat when everyone was playing it and stuff, so I don't know if it's still quite as good as it was. So let's see if, there we go, Tank versus Falcon. Let's update the scoreboard quickly while I think about it before hopping in, because I'll get too excited and not actually do it. So we have Tank. And we have Falcon. So just 2 games left, guys. Hope you have been enjoying. If you have, feel free to leave a little thumbs up. It really does actually help push this video out more than you'd think. Like, YouTube's a weird beast, and it is feasted upon by likes and comments and that stuff. So feel free to like the video if you are enjoying. If you're new around here, feel free to subscribe as well. We do drop glorious Total Warhammer action pretty much every single day, and a couple of streams a week as well. Hello, champs. Hello, lads. Excited to see the scrap. Looks like Falcon's already ready to go. These guys can start instantly, so we're going to be popping straight in here. Hell Cannons can steer a little bit as well, yeah. They're little tracking shots. Yeah, someone is making a mod for that, Bidlington, so that may be enough to tempt me in. Oh, that'd be so cool, man. Aloys, I agree. Been dreaming of this. There's also a new game coming out on Tuesday, so there might be less streams than usual next week. I'll still try to do 2. But Biomutant is a game coming out, which I've had my eye on for a little while, and it looks really good fun. So I may end up playing that quite a bit as well throughout kind of next week. And I believe I'm playing in a Clan War as well, maybe. I'll have to wait and see. Wait, for the forces of Tank, just to go over them once more, you do have the double Blood Knights, the double Vargulfs as well, Frontline of zombies, Graveguard in the centre, double White King on the horses with Scabberscape and Heinrich Kemmler on his horse. So, pretty standard stuff, but you guys obviously seen this, hence why I'm going through these builds so quickly. As for Falcon, arguably is it my favourite build so far we've seen? I don't know, the Tyrion play was pretty damn cool as well, but a ton of Shadow Warriors in the front line looking to skirmish the enemy. Silver Helms and Illyrian Reavers do make up the Cav contingent here, as well as double War Lions. Archmage Metal is up in the sky, Seer Dooms are going to have to be on point here. Frostheart Phoenix can hopefully bunch up a load of troops and really get in and do the work. I think this is going to be really hard for Falcon. A load of shots do pour in onto the Blood Knights, seem to do some okay damage. And can now start to fall back. Poor little White King is going to get a bit of focus fire popped on him as well. Blood Knights and Vargov's going to be like, you know what, we don't really want to tussle here, and they're actually going to fall back and run behind their chaff forces, which is a good way to do it. It's going to come down to a lot of mobility by both players. What's going to happen is every time Blood Knights and Vargovs fall back, Falcon's going to want to hit with his Silver Helms and Illyrian Reavers into this front line. Problem is, every time they come in, the Vargovs are going to come back. And it's going to be a real back and forth pretty much like that all day. White King really is going balls to the wall here and charging in. I think the Archmage can even come down and say hello. A lot of the Shadow Warrior focus fire is going on those Vargovs, so you can see massive, massive damage coming down. War Lines and Silver Helms clatter into this flank, obliterating zombies and Graveguard alike before fleeing. Flee for your lives, you fools! Before the might of the Blood Knights, and it looks like the majority of the War Lines should be able to escape. Now the Shadow Warriors can really pepper down those Vargovs on their assault here. Frostheart Phoenix might want to start doing the same thing. Illyrian Reavers are going to get a nice... Oh my god, this is going to be such a nasty sandwich. Skeleton Warriors, brace yourselves! They scream as they get hit from two sides by Reavers. And yeah, that unit is just getting absolutely crumped. Against the Undead, though, this kind of tactic isn't quite as successful because they will eventually recover rather than other units which would break run, and then you can chase them down with your cavalry. Unfortunately for Falcon, Illyrian Reavers have been trapped here a little bit too long. White King's doing some nice work. Frostheart Phoenix just floating around at the moment. Blood Knights have overextended alongside with the Vargulf. They're going to get recharged by Illyrian Reavers. A ton of shots are coming in. Seer Doom rocks itself in and it's going to catch the Blood Knights. No, beautiful micro by Tank. He managed to escape and it just catches zombies instead. Plague Rust goes down on one of these Vargulfs. Blood Knights really suffering here. They've managed to pin in some Shadow Warriors, but they're losing a lot of key units at the same time. Is that a gamble which will pay off for Falcon? We'll have to wait and see. It seems like there's someone in here. Is it Kemmler? No, it is indeed a White King. One White King's been assassinated by the mobile core of the High Elves, who can now float over and try to assassinate this other unit. Silver Helms do start to break in the centre pocket, and that is the sacrifice he paid to attempt to drag down a Vargulf and the Blood Knights. It seems like the Blood Knights actually survived, so I don't know if it paid off there for Falcon. Silver Helms struggling to get out, and War Lines should be able to rally, and they've got decent model count and health left. More Shadow Warriors are starting to go down here, or Blood Knights, sorry, from the fire from the Shadow Warriors. Vargulfs try to float back here to save their infantry, which is not looking too healthy up here. White King still fighting strong. Lovely Scabberscape goes down on those Illyrian Reavers, and the Archmage needs to get out of here before those Vargulfs kind of descend upon her. Frostheart Phoenix looking healthy as well. Certainly can be a pretty good hit and run tactic. Now Falcon just needs to realign his forces, go again, and just do the same work. So I think there's a pretty favourable engagement early on for him. But one problem he's going to have is that ammunition will start to drain and run a little low on the Shadow Warriors, so I would even have Fire at Will turned off and just focus down key targets. It seems like that's what he's doing. Invocation Heck is popped on the Blood Knights, both of them in fact, the White King and the Vargulf. Really good play there by Tank, who's trying to slowly push forward, apply pressure to these Illyrian Reavers, but will the healing be able to outweigh the ammunition on the Shadow Warriors? Maybe, because they're not looking hugely healthy on that department. Blood Knights getting relatively close to their healing cap, which could be a bit of a worry for the Vampire Count's player. More shots do rain in, and this time it is on the Graveguard, getting some nice damage value. These Shadow Warriors going to be interesting to see what their value is played at the end. The Frostheart Phoenix is just floating above the skies. Might even sort of dive down at some zombies and get some free damage where possible. Vargulf is taking a few shots to the face. A little bit slow to pull him back there. Blood Knights just going to be kiting back and forth, trying to juke as much shots as possible and wait up for the healing spam, because it's what Tank has to do realistically if he's going to win, because his ground forces will be cycle charged to death. Blood Knights do drive forward, hunting down those Silver Helms, but Tank restraint here, pulling them back if they overextend, which is a really solid idea all round. Starting to form a bit of a death blob, and there's no burning heads here, there's no fire poops from a Phoenix or anything, so there's not too much which can punish this style of play, apart from the Seer Dooms which could come in. It looks like we're going to be seeing a Seer Doom as he baits in the Illyrian Reavers and pulls back. Is it going to catch it? Is. Graveguard gets smacked as well as the Blood Knights. Beautiful gambit there. sacrificing some Reavers to drag in the enemy and punish them quite badly. Shadow Warriors going to be falling back at the moment, saving their ammunition, as the Silver Helms in the distance just getting ready to fight once more. Shadow Warriors do pour fight into the Vargulf, looking for that assassination attempt, and my god, it's getting danger low. Down to minus 15 leadership, very low health-wise. He has to pull back now, and he's going to get an invocation heck. Frostheart Phoenix considered charging in there to finish him off. Good juking by Tank, avoids the second volley. Blood Knights getting held up as well as the Graveguard continue to close the gap. Shadow Warriors very low ammo-wise now. 4 ammo here. 3, 2, and 3 again. Load of shots do ready, but they seem to miss. Siren Doom coming in once more, baiting in the enemy with that Illyrian Reaver charge. Falcon playing out of his skin with this build, it would seem. Graveguard getting hammered, Blood Knights getting hammered. That was a rough one, but we still have the White King. We still have the Vargulf, just to say that the Vargulf is actually going down here. We have quite a few Blood Knights who are engaging with Silver Helms. Big favourable engagements for them, as the Shadow Warriors have 1 volley left on all of them, it seems. That is going to have to be a big volley. Probably wants to focus down the Blood Knights where possible. Frostheart Phoenix is very healthy, and in comes the volley. It does pepper down those Blood Knights onto the weaker unit, trying to get them off the field as quickly as possible. Our Silver Helms do start to engage in combat. Archmage going to be saving up, no doubt, for another more, 1 or 2 more Siren Dooms. Beautiful Scab Escape comes down by Tank, hitting the Shadow Warriors, who actually still have 1 or 2 shots left. Fat Siren Doom coming down on the chaff, trying to eliminate it, so you can surround the single entities in the late game. That's going to be some big damage, just as the Silver Helms time the charge perfectly to come in for a rear charge, but an invocation of the heck comes down there to support Tank. There's also an invocation of Tank there. The Archmage is up to a whopping 2,700 damage value, looking to assassinate some Blood Knights with Plague of Rust popped on them. The Frostheart Phoenix comes in for the kill. White King is here to support, though, although it is more of an anti-infantry character. War Lions pop in, slaughtering Graveguard with the help of the Illyrian Reavers. More Graveguard starting to crumble, but they have managed to regroup themselves. Shadow Warrior has been forced into hand-to-hand combat, not where they want to be, but of course, they're not terrible at it either. We're seeing quite a nice surround as well, it would seem, from the High Elf forces, working as a anvil in the front and the cavalry hammering to the back. And it looks like the Blood Knights may be dealt with, but we still have Krell, who has been summoned in the late stages of the game. That is a beautifully kind of trap card in Tank's back pocket. You've activated my trap card, because the High Elves can't really pull out too much here, unless they want to leave some units in. And there's some zombie summons going down, putting the Shadow Warriors in place. Frostheart Phoenix is trying its best to deal with the White King, as the Archmage of Metal does float down. And it looks like all of the chaff for the Undead Forces has been dealt with. We just have some Skeleton Warriors left. Alam the Arcane Phoenix and the Archmage here, or the Frostheart Phoenix, sorry, just to cycle charge these single entities into oblivion, but it could take a long time. In the distance, Tank has forgotten a couple of units of zombies who are actually really quite key and needed over here, I think. Applying that fear could be good. Illyrian Reavers clatter into the back of the summon zombies, looking to finish them off for good. Once Krell does disappear, that balance power is going to be really bad for Tank, but he still has a while left on his summon. He's been up for about half his time. White King getting danger low as the Frostheart Phoenix continues to cycle in, as the healing cap has been met. Archmage unfortunately can't really use anymore the Plague of Rust. Or Scab Escape down this line could be absolutely key. Can't really use Siren Doom, so it's going to have to use Plague of Rust, that's what I meant to say. You can tell I've been Kaza for a while when my mind wanders and all my words get mixed up. White King takes massive damage from the rear attack of the Archmage, and the Phoenix comes up to follow up that punch. I think the White King is going to be dealt with here, wavering at very low leadership. Krell up to 8 kills, slaughtering troops wherever he doth go. But a lot of the Shadow Warriors are going to run over to this flank, looking to engage the zombies. Combatants they're far better at dealing with. Going to be able to shoot them down rather well. White King is down to minus 42 leadership, 600 health. One more cycle charge should be enough to do it, as the Frostheart Phoenix comes in, slams into the flank, and deals with their enemy. Krell is nearly done. Nearly gone from this world. If we have a little look down at his toolbar, you can see he's unbinding at the moment, so he will start to degrade over time. And when that disappears, he will be coming out of the action. Heinrich Himmler is fighting strong up against the War Lions, who pin on a pretty dogged display all round. Shadow Warriors as well coming to rear charge the zombies, looking to break the last defense of the forces of the undead. Krell has now gone down to his second stage. Man, he sticks around for quite a considerable amount of time, but that second stage is far quicker. Heinrich Himmler completely surrounded, zombies surrounded. Balance power is ebbing and flowing towards army losses. One of you in chat said Felcom said no chance with his build up against the vampire counts, but it is looking like game over. As soon as Krell goes here, army losses will set in, and the Dark Lord reigns supreme. GG's, man. That was amazing. That was amazing! Well played to both players. Tank did such a good job of keeping his Blood Knights and Vargulfs online as long as he did. But Falcon is nasty with it, with kind of picking and choosing his targets. Good ice stations once again, which is what you have to do with this build. And I love playing this style of build, but my micro is not up to scratch with Falcon, and it often does backfire upon me. 4,000 damage value on the Archmage of Metal. Excellent work. Shadow Warriors across the board, 1.4k, 1.7, 1.4, 1.6, and 1.6 winning the day. Elite Reavers and Silver Helms, less damage value on them, likewise the War Lions, but pinning their opponent in place. Frostheart Phoenix, a respectable 1,400 damage value, as well as causing all kinds of problems in the late game with Cycle Charging. As for Tank, Heinrich Kemmler only 490, but he's not here for the kills. The White Kings, one did good, 850 damage value, the other struggled a little bit. The unfortunate zombies and Graveguard didn't fare too well, which you didn't expect against this build. Blood Knights, despite the focus fire, still got solid damage value. 1,600 damage value here, 400 everyone less good. Vargulf's really suffering with basically no damage value. Looks like they are speaking a little bit in Russian, so I don't know what's going on, but GG's. Something about missile resistance, it would seem, but GG. GG, well played. Great game. That was a fun one to watch, man. Well played to Tank, though. Oh, for sure, man. Like, Tank played so good all tournament, but Falcon just about managed to kind of pick apart the right targets. The Shadow Warrior leadership, yeah, held firm, man. What's up, Ellie, as well? Good to see you here in chat. And Venge. Frostheart Phoenix OP! I'll go back and watch. Oh man, Cot Morgan, have you just returned? Man, Almighty King of Ducks, you have missed a pretty insane game. Yeah, definitely go back and watch that one for sure. Yeah, Falcon's micro is just scary. WWW asks, what do you think? When do you think we will get the next news about DLC or pre-order? I'm thinking DLC news very soon. Very soon. I have no info on that, by the way, at all. But I think there's a real good chance we're going to get info soon, because they're running out of time, kind of, to do the extra DLC, I think. So, up next, let's change the names around. We should have Bowmore versus Falcon. So I'll later message on Discord, but I think there's nothing urgent at the moment. So we will change Tank's name to Bowmore. This is going to be an interesting one, because it's the Skaven build, which also has long-range damage output, but we've already seen Falcon's build take down Skaven as well. So Bowmore, feel free to hop into the lobby. If you can't see it, let me know. Oh! That's what you were saying, Tank. Thank you for letting me know. So the Blood Knight missile resist does not work in melee. Interesting. So yeah, the 5 Shadow Warriors focusing them down when they come into combat. That is very interesting to know. Thank you, Tank. I think someone had told me that before, but a long time ago. Yeah, that early blob fight, like, Falcon was quite good at, like, pushing in forces. Bowmore can't see lobby. Lobby. Are you okay to send him a friend code? Or I can host. Up to you. Yeah, Shadow Warriors can be quite hard to use, and they can really get slaughtered, but likewise they can do massive damage, and we saw that today by what happened. Oh, I can add him, and hopefully he'll pop up, or he'll be able to see the lobby that way as well. Invite sent. Cool. So hopefully if you add me as a friend, you'll be able to see the lobby, bud. That'd be the plan. Yeah, hope you guys are enjoying this format. It's really fun to do. I know it can be like a little sucky if you go in and you lose your first game because it's best of one and it's like, it sucks. I was here to kind of play a load of games. But, yeah, that's what other tournaments are for as well. We do those kind of like best-of-3 standard tournaments and stuff. And you can get a little unlucky in this one if you do run into a counter pick straight away. Do try and avoid them where possible, but there's so many players and so many factions coming in, it's hard to do. Makes me think, would a build with matching amount of fast cavalry unravel Falcon's build? That, I think, would really come down to the engagements that got caught. But yeah, that'd be a good way to try to punish it. The problem is, if you can't beeline for the Shadow Warriors because the Silver Helms would pin you in place, and then you get focus fired by the Shadow Warriors. So it can be a problem. Awesome. Thank you. His code is up. Hey, lol. So I'll just send him the code. Two on Vermin. Yeah, Vermin versus High Elves should be a good fun game. If they can't find the lobby for whatever reason, I'll just host one, but it's fine. Map shall be Iron Sand Desert. Hey dude. Welcome. Finals. We've done more joins, there seems to be a little bit of lag, but then it hasn't really affected us in battles, which is all good. Yeah, going real mass infantry of no key targets could work really well against this build. Likewise, you have to be careful not to spread out too much because rear charging the Silver Helms and Linen Reavers will break your forces quite quickly. Looks like Bonemore's having a little problem loading in here. I might have to leave and rejoin or something. Boop. Cool. Let's have a little drink. Wait for Bonemore's PC to sort itself out. As the lobby seems a little bugged. Oh, cool. Looks like Falcon's going to rehost. Map is Iron Sand. Oh yeah, looks like Bonemore's game crashed. That's fine. There we go. Cool. Falcon versus Vermin. I love it. I love it. Jorgen's even silent Tolman. Well, he does bleed. I managed to take a game with him in the best of 3 not too long ago. Which actually up on the channel was some really good fun games. Lobster special. Turns out Falcon is really good. Yeah, that is certainly saying something. He is certainly a bit of a beastly warrior. But man, you got to finish game. You played so well today, man, as well. You should fear no man, particularly if you bring Tyrion to display. Looks like the Might of Bowmore is here. Good luck, champs. I'll get to see these guys in action. Falcon is strong, man. Falcon is strong for sure. Guys, I think I'm in danger. I think I'm in danger. And I think it's possible to nerf Falcon. He has been taking a break, I think, from some of the tournament scene for a little while now. I think before WWC even. I probably just, it's good to take a break every now and again. I do it as well. Just see him come back stronger and more focused. So hopefully I have changed the names. I have? Oh my god, I'm so good. So good. Professional here. So just to, we've already just seen this build, but again, for anyone who's just joined, this is the finals here of the best of 1 tournament. Shadow Warriors are going to be the weapon of choice for Falcon. Huge bursting, damage-dealing, scouting warriors, protected by a combined force of Illyrian Reavers, Silver Helms, and War Lions. War Lions look so cool as well. Look at them. Look at them in action. I love the little shields as well on their flanks. We have a Frostheart Phoenix up in the skies, as well as an Archmage of Metal. Searing Doom and Plague of Rust shall be her poisons. For the forces of Skaven, who we haven't seen in a little while, one game, we have loads of chaffy Skaven slaves dotted through the front line, basic ones and the spear ones, double Poison Wind Globadiers, double Triads to help protect the back line, double Chieftain, double Mutant Rat Ogre, and a Grey Seer of Plague. It's a really cool, unique build I haven't seen often before, and both of these forces get in this late in the tournament with two, I would say, argue off-meta kind of forces. It's hard to say what the meta is in this because it's best of ones. We have Scorch, Unholy Clamour, the dreaded 13th spell, which could be huge, and Vermintide. He's saying you have to use those to pin in enemy cavalry when they do come in for that assassination attempt. And those Rat Ogres, the two mutant ones and the two chieftains, can get in here and do really good work. They can assassinate the Archmage, beat back the Frostheart Phoenix, and beat pretty much all of this build in combat. The problem being is going to be protecting them from those Shadow Warriors, and that is far easier said than done. We do have double Warlord Jezzails, who can apply some pressure onto the Shadow Warriors if they get too close, but of course you don't know where they are, you don't know where they're going to hit you from, and it can all get rather messy rather quickly. Certainly looking forward to this one though. What's up, CJ? No worries, CJ. It's the final game, man. Yeah, I think just a few players in general are taking a little time off. And they're coming back. A load of players wanted time off after WWC, which I fully agree with, because I actually burnt out. I got to the third group stage, and I just dropped out. I was like, guys, I've faced too many greenskin forces in my time to want to play anymore. I did play a couple of games, and I was like, hey, if you need me to play, like, if it's going to affect the group, I'll play. But there was two guys in our group who were really dominant, and I think it's Showtime, who performed amazingly, actually. I think he won the third place all round. And I, in general, who kind of dominated the groups. Yeah, CJ, you've made it just in time for the finals. On the glorious map of Iron Sand Desert, as the Skaven forces do come up against Nagarife and Falcon's Might. Ready, ready, yes, yes. Yes, yes, for the Horned Rat. So the Shadow Warriors will be rotating around, looking to cramp one flank. Likewise, the Skaven are going to be trying an additional tactic, just rotating their forces around, looking to meet the High Elves head on. Ellyrian River's army riding the ridgeline round, trying to get behind their enemy. Bowmore has to be careful because this does actually count as the edge of the map. There's plenty of room, I think, for those Ellyrian Reavers to get through. And the Skaven forces are approaching as well and moving forward. Good to see. The Arcane Conduit has been popped on the Archmage of Metal, just trying to get as much Winds of Magic as possible before engaging in this fight. The Frostheart Phoenix floating forward looks so cool. A lot of Warlord Jezzails do go in after the Archmage of Metal, but good juking so far by Falcon, realises the threat and moves backwards. Shadow Warriors have now been spotted, but not before they are in range, probably of the Poison Wind Globadiers. That is exactly the target, and look at these guys melt from the bowfire. No losses, though, actually, in the first volley. Not quite as much damage as I thought it was going to be. These guys, of course, aren't Waywatchers, more of the kind of cheaper, lighter version, I would say, but still up for the good job as well. Getting those Poison Wind Globadiers down to half health off a couple of volleys is rather nice work. Warlord Jezzails also going to be a bit of a threat here, though. Skaven Slaves have been able to actually catch the Shadow Warriors, and we're going to get his summon here. It looks like Falcon just about realises, and is going to be pulling back his forces. This unit of Shadow Warriors is in big trouble, but in come the War Lions, as well as the Silver Helms, looking to clatter into those rats, send them absolutely flying back into the dust from whence they came, allowing the Shadow Warriors to escape relatively unharmed, and the Frostheart Phoenix is going to be diving in there as well. This is happening all across the battle line. War Lions combining with Silver Helms is a really good tactic I like to see quite a lot. Shadow Warriors focus firing down those chieftains where possible. And on this flank, we do have the Eshin Triads, who are a really good counter to the Silver Helms, but they're simply being overwhelmed by the mass cavalry. Archmage darting in here as well to try and force them back. Plague of Rust being popped on the Mutant Rat Ogre, who though he is pulling back now to the main engagements. Scorch comes down the line, trying to catch those Silver Helms and War Lions, but they simply move out of the way and start hopping on top of the Warlord Jezzails in the back line, ripping and tearing those rats asunder. However, the Poison Wind Globadiers are going to be making them pay the price, shooting those shots in, those big old fat grenades. Silver Helms are really getting danger low now morale-wise, as the Chieftains do pound in, and the Mutant Rat Ogre barely flops in, although the Silver Helms may just about be pulled away in time to escape there. Shadow Warriors all looking rather healthy in the back lines. We do have some Clan Rats trying to push through, but the War Lions are seeing to them quite nicely. Silver Helm's taking a bit of a beating from the Eshin Triads, who are trying to get on top of that Frostheart Phoenix, who's going to be disengaging from combat. Big dreaded 13 spell comes down on this side, breaking off 2 units of Ellyrian Reavers and nearly killing the Archmage of Metal with a combined help of those Storm Vermin and the Mutant Rat Ogre, who it looks to be going down. Archmage is terrified and running for her life, but she has time to rally. That would have been huge if the Archmage had indeed been killed, because the Shadow Warriors own mass retreat right now, and a lot of the cavalry of Falcon is kind of scattered to the winds. War Lions finish off the Poison Wing Globadiers. We have Silver Helms who can come back to the main fight as well. And these Shadow Warriors are starting to run a little low on ammunition with a lot of single entity crazies left on the field. This mid-round ogre has been dealt with. That Dreaded 13th spell, man, we just about missed it, but we caught the kind of aftermath of it, and that really punished these Illyrian Reavers as well as the Archmage, but they have managed to kill that Mutant Rat Ogre and shatter him off the field. Double Shadow Warriors here are getting caught by Storm Vermin, who do dissipate though. They are humble summon. Balance power is heavily once again in favour of Falcon. Really nice play there by Bowmore, trying to even the odds a little bit, and it nearly worked. That Archmage just about got out in time, and I think the Terror route actually helped Falcon, because if a unit is routing and running, they will actually take the best physical route out there. The computer will force them to. So it did allow the Archmage to escape there. Silver Helm's currently engaged with Eshin Trides. Not a good engagement for them, but with the combined help of the Frostheart Phoenix and more Wolves, Lions, and other cavalry, they've managed to shatter that unit off the field for good, which is good to see for them. Although, Double Chieftain looking to pin in these units in place, alongside some Clan Rats are moving out to this right-hand flank. All the cavalry of Falcon is so beat up at the moment, leaving just the Shadow Warriors to kind of defend themselves, but they've done so much damage at this point, the Skaven force is very naked, which is a little bit of a worry. War Lions going to start flooding in, looking to hunt down the Poison Wing Globadiers. Look at these guys, pound and bound across the battlefield onto the Poison Wing Globadiers, who are certainly not going to be too happy with War Lions feasting upon them. And it's probably not good for a War Lions diet, because you're going to be eating those Poison Wing Globadier balls and stuff, which isn't too nice. A load of Shadow Warriors do continue to pour fire in onto the Grey of Plague, doing some really nice solid damage now, consistently whittling them down, and the Archmage did manage to survive that scare, can simply now fly up in the skies for the majority of the battle. Over in the distance, we do have the Mutant Rat Ogre pound on the ground in frustration, as he watches his chieftain go to work against those War Lions who are working as a pack, trying to surround the enemy and drag them down. Frostheart Phoenix as well, doing a pretty good job tear outing some of those pesky Skaven slaves. I do hear the bell tome once more, but it looks like it is Unholy Clamour. Unfortunately, no Dreaded 13th spell here. Poison Wing Globadier is going to be pushing forward, try to do some damage on the enemy, but Illyrian Reavers going for a glorious suicide charge in. Plague of Rust actually gets popped on the Poison Winds themselves, which is a little overkill, but again, they've actually got decent armour, so it's going to allow the Illyrian Reavers just to delete them. They are shattered from the field. Balance power getting very close to army losses, as the Shadow Warriors once again, due to good micromanagement, have used up pretty much all of their ammunition. Although, I mean, there's a Chieftain left, there's a Grey Seer, there's also a Mutant Rat Ogre and another Chieftain. If they can drag themselves together and support one another around their Lord, maybe they have a chance here, because the Shadow Warriors have just used up their last shots, although to deadly accuracy, the Chieftain crumples to the ground. In the distance, it seems that Eshin Trides trying their best to beat back the Illyrian Reavers. Falcon realises this threat, though, and focuses them down, routes them off the field, as the last arrows do sing. Oh, 5 ammo actually on this Shadow Warrior. Okay, I thought they were all out, but 2 seem to be out. This one down to just 1 volley left as well. And I think it could come down to the fact that the leadership of the Skaven probably isn't going to be able to hold here. The Grey Seer is getting rather low as well, and there's still a full health Frostheart Phoenix, which is a bit of a meme unit, but it still does pack a punch, of course. Still a gigantic flying creature. Archmage Metal going down to try and break the Grey Seer with the help of the Frostheart Phoenix, and Shadow Warriors surrounded, and Army Losses does kick in. Seer and Doom just to go down as a bit of fireworks from Falcon in the later stages there. What's up, Misha? How's it going, champion? Hope you're all good today. Lovely to see you here. This Skaven has as much armour as Longbeard. Say, explain myself. So, the Might of Bowmere, very good display from him all tournament. Grey Seer Plague 1000 damage value. Chieftains did suffer, and so did his Mutant Rat Ogres for the most point. This one got 945 damage value during the dueling the Archmage for a while. Warlord Giselles, well, really showed. So did Thomas. A lot of the build kind of didn't get that much damage value, but it is certainly no shame going out up against Falcon, who did have to use up all his ammunition. Of course, that's not really counted in the damage value. And the Archmage Metal coming in 1000 damage value. Nowhere near the highs we saw before that came up against the Vampire counts. But Shadow Warriors across the board, 850, 1900, 1800. Good value for them. Silver Helms did some really nice work as well. 750 and 944 damage value. Also chasing off key targets is quite nice. Love to see the War Lions being played. 1000 damage value, 650. Frostheart Phoenix will just pretend like he got a load of damage value, eh? GG, man. Awesome games. And massive. Congrats to Falcon. You are the champion of the day. So we've now had Dowie, Dark Elves, Tomb Kings, and High Elves win one of these one build battle royales, which is really interesting because people are kind of greenskins, you know, they're like the number one faction right now, right? Skaven, very good. Lizardmen, very good. And none of them have won, which is pretty awesome. Thanks for beating another undead player, by the way. You did very good. And thanks for organising. No worries, man. Thanks for playing. Yeah, man. Bowmore, you did a fantastic display all round. GG's, yeah. The Chieftain got heroed 2002. What's this? Yeah, I was watching this and I was like, ooh, I kind of fancy going on ladder and doing some Nagarife style builds in this kind of same format to Falcon, but I don't think I'll be able to pull it off quite as much. It is a best of one, unfortunately, because, I mean, it's the same build, so it's a bit stupid playing the same build over and over again. And if we mix it up, it kind of makes it look, it kind of like defeats the point of it being a one build tournament, right? Hail the Mighty! People have brought big ones, I think, before, but yeah, people tend to bring a lot of fun builds here. And again, this is a really interesting build from Skaven. Double Chieftain on the Bonebreaker, double Mutant Rallier is really fun. And likewise, Falcon's Force is very powerful, but 300 value, boy. Frost Heart. Frost Heart OP for sure. Yes, hail the mighty. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. If you did, again, as I say this every now and again, feel free to like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. And there are links down below to my Discord if you're looking how to play in such events like this in the future. Now, before you guys go, I will try and find another stream so you guys can go raid. Please nerf the Frost Heart. So let's see who else is streaming. We might be able to send you over to someone if there's anyone else about. So let's have a little look-see. So, I think H1 Sun is actually streaming on YouTube, which is cool. Oh, well, and he's streaming some tournament action. So I'm going to send you guys over there. Feel free to pop over. Please do yell quack quack at him as much as possible. Let them puke half in the battle. No, what is this? Oh, you mean the lions, of course. So, this is a list. Oh my god, what am I saying today? This is a link to H1 Sun, a really cool tournament host. That's his YouTube link. Please do pop over there, say quack quack, say hello, and check him out. Hope you guys enjoyed. There will be a video up in about, I don't know, 10 minutes on my channel. If you've not had enough of the glorious Warhammer action, we do have a Wood Elf versus Beastmen replay coming up in just a little while. So hope you guys enjoyed that one. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome. Oh, how's that? Before I leave. Sorry. I was about to leave. Oh no, the super chat. I wanted to say thank you for the super chat. I can't remember what your name is. I know I thanked you at the time, but it doesn't seem to pop up here, unfortunately. But anyway, guys, this time for real. I juked you out there, but this time, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome.